Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Difficult Terrain, the Admand expedition. Marshall, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. If you see off to my camera here, I've got my reporter here. This is my foreign correspondent, Publius. I don't know. Wait, I
Oh,
can.
oh,
You
so
just,
I can just about see him, but the stream won't be able
oh,
to.
the stream won't. No.
Yeah,
Okay, that's too bad. He's like sticking his head out of a wall. Anyway,
yeah.
but but yes, I'm doing quite well. I'm here in sunny Lansing, Michigan, and uh, we were just talking about the weather, and I think that uh, it has been quite hot here as well. I think there's been like a heat wave, because for the past week or so, it's been on average around. Here, I'll translate it to the Celsius. It's been on average
Thank you.
around, I would say on average around 29 to 33, 34 lately. So it's been hot. Um, and yeah, I think I. So there are two things that don't exist in great numbers outside of the United States, and these have been this is always like the biggest hindrance to Americans traveling, and it's air conditioning and it's screens. Like I think you probably have screens in Britain. I don't know, but like by screens I mean like you would put it up in a window, and it lets air through but prevents bugs from getting in.
Oh, what do we call those? Blinds, I think we call them in the UK.
Blinds.
I think so. I think that's what we call them. Yeah,
Okay.
like we have those shutter blinds essentially because usually they'll come and you can have them either like horizontal or vertical, and they're like how do I think I'm
And they
describing
stop bugs from getting in?
Oh no, so we do have those. Sorry, I think I maybe misunderstood.
Yeah, well, because we have those. What you're talking about is it?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm talking about.
You're talking
like,
about like yes, I know what you mean, like nets or
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
And
We
a
do
lot of like,
have them for sale, but not a lot of people use them.
yeah, a lot of countries when they open their windows, they just like they let the pure unbridled air in, and in the Midwest, if you do that, like the part of the in most parts of the U.S., but it's like where I live, you do that, your house will be filled with mosquitoes in like 20 minutes. It's
so
insane.
the reason I think why that because we were talking about this recently about getting some nets for my place, and we realized it wasn't worth it, and I think this is what a lot of people in the UK go through because all of the bugs in the UK are small enough that even if you put the nets up, they would just come through some other holes in somewhere else in your house because the windows aren't like fully, there's little holes in the windows and things like that because we don't have like mosquitoes or things like that. I suppose it would keep out moths. I've had some moth problems lately, but
I keep out like big. You
bigger
probably
flies.
get just traditional flies. It'd probably keep them out.
Most of our
But-
flies are like gnats and things like that. Like really
yeah.
small. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's that is a problem. We when I was in Scotland recently, I was introduced to a new insect that I didn't know about. It's like a mosquito but meaner. And now I can't remember what it was called. It was like a Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to look it up. There were like swarms of them, and they were smaller than mosquitoes. And I think it was started with a CH, like a chogger or something like that. Shit. I'm going to have to look it up. I'll look it up while we're talking. But yeah, that for me is like I really want to travel across the globe, and especially when I go to places like Thailand, I'm worried that I'm just gonna be like sleeping at night, just swarmed by bugs. That's
speaking of annoying pests that take valuable things and run off, why don't you give us a quick recap of what happened last week?
Oh, annoying pests. Yes. So the folks here in did they name this bandit cave? We'll call it Bandit Cave. Jimmy's Bandit Cave.
Well, you know who it belonged to. It's not Jimmy.
Actually, yeah. What was her name? Let me pull it up. It was. We killed her. Was
Bromara.
Bromara's bandits. Thank you. So Bromara, we'll call it Bromara's cave then. We killed Bromara, killed her dead, after a long and brutal, scrappy fight, in this cave, where people were, Admand went down. Our new ally, Haldra, went down. Several, I would say that Kratz came very close to going down. And Dorian came very close to going down. While Dorian doesn't have, like, super low HP, he was stuck on one side of a rock face, climbing up like a wounded animal, unarmed, no spells left, and he was surrounded by two guys. So, like, I was certain Dorian was dead. Like, I was like, this is over if he cannot get this. And, of course, when he really needed to, he finally made it, so that was good. After Admand went down, the whole group pulled back from our encounter with Bromara. We had, like, a last stand in the room where the prisoners were, and it worked. Through a lot of sneaky tactics, a lot of shooting ammunition, crossbow bolts, and also Kratz just sort of absorbing some hits and also giving a few out, and quite a few crits. I think we had, like, 3 or 4 nat 20s in that fight, which we really needed. They were not trivial. They were crucial. Because of all that, we were able to take Bromara down, and when we did, the fight immediately turned for us. Bromara's underlings immediately had a morale problem, and we were able to capture 2 of them quite easily. The third survivor ran off, grabbed our bag of money, and then scuttered away while releasing the sort of wild dog wolf hounds, whatever we want to call them, and is now just out in the wild with our money. We were able to kill the wolves, and currently it is it's Admand is knocked out, Haldra is knocked out, Dorian is watching both of them and keeping an eye on the other people we've rescued and just sort of holding down the fort, while Kratz and Istria are pursuing this remaining enemy to get our money back. And that's where we start. And also, I found out the name of them. They're called midges. Midges.
Oh, yeah, midges are cunts. Can't give them.
Yeah, well, that's what we learned.
They will
first person.
Eat you alive. Yeah.
Well, something we learned about them what's different, seems to be different from them and mosquitoes, is that mosquitoes are kind of like lone agents.
Yes.
Right? Like, they'll just act on their own accord and do what they will. And, I mean, if there's a lot of mosquitoes, it will feel like you're being swarmed. But my understanding with the midges is that they like, work together. Yeah, they are a swarm.
They are a cloud of blood-sucking death.
Yeah, so that sounds rough.
And they like, they like hang around. Like, you'll find them most frequently if you're having like an outdoor event in the summer. Like, if you're having like a barbecue or something, they'll just be around. And if you separate from your pack, they will hunt you down.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's like going to an alien planet.
I'm over exaggerating a little bit. Like, if you sit still, they will just start eating you. But if you make movement, they get frightened very easily.
Okay, there you go. I would just be at the barbecue just dancing the entire time.
When it is true, I think, in my experience, that when you're group, they don't go after you.
So weird. Man, they attack the weak and the lonely. So yes, we're in hot pursuit, and the main character, Admand, is currently down and out.
Yeah, he's got 2 hours before he comes back too. So
Aldra's 4, I believe. So Aldra will be out for all day.
If I remember correctly, you were gonna have Astria try and pick up this trail. So if you're ready, go ahead.
Because you said it was perception. Yeah,
perception.
Istria has the better one, so I might as well make the best of that modifier. Here we go.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, she finds some footprints on the edge of the river, and she can notice that by the size of the footprints and their very nature, it appears as though whoever left these footprints was slightly burdened, seemed to be carrying maybe something heavy. But she can see which direction they go in.
Carrying my money! Alright. Istria will point this out to... we'll point this out to Kratz, and the two of them will immediately begin following these tracks. Does that require a survival check to follow them?
Yes, it does.
Good. Thankfully, we have a survivor. A winner of the reality TV show Survivor, Kratz.
We had to find a new television channel for our wrestling show yesterday in our ongoing series, and one of the things we were looking at is because we're sort of bigger than we should be at this time, so we were like, well, we should go on to one of the big American networks. And so what we were looking for is, well, none of the big American networks would run wrestling at this time, but which ones are running like game shows that are really popular? And I think Survivor was one of the top 5 most viewed television shows in that year.
Yeah, CBS.
Right. Yes. Yep.
CBS. So there you go.
I think it was CBS had that, and I think Fox had like American Idol or.
Yes,
Dancing
Fox
with the
had
Stars.
American Idol, and that was for the first 3 or 4 seasons like the biggest show.
Yep.
In America. That is such a weird era now looking back, because it's so irrelevant now. But I mean, when I was a kid, it was the biggest fucking thing. What a weird time. Anyway, okay, rolling survival. Oh man, Kratz, you fool! Istria beats Kratz to within an inch of his life for this. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, at least for about half an hour, you don't kind of notice anything. But after you cross over a small brook, Kratz sort of realizes that he's completely lost the trail.
Kratz. All right, what's the sort of procedure then in this case? Are we screwed? Can we try again? What would be the...
Well, the situation is that you've traveled for about half an hour in the direction that you thought these tracks were leading. And for the past 20 minutes or so, you have seen no sign of this bandit. So you tell me what your next steps are.
So I guess we'd have to go back and find the old tracks that we were certain, and to try to find where they actually lead. Okay. So that's what we'll do. We'll backtrack.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. You spend a little bit of extra time. You head back. I'm going to say I want Istria to make a perception check with a higher DC to give Kratz another chance at this.
Okay, here we go.
Excellent.
18.
Yeah, she does. You don't backtrack all the way. You backtrack about halfway until Istria sees a torn piece of cloth on a branch nearby. Having observed it appears to be from the clothing you saw the bandits wearing.
Yes. Okay, so I'm not taking chances. Kratz is going to be using inspiration. Cool. We have inspiration. So let me check that off. Kratz is going to use inspiration. Roll with advantage. Here we go. Survive.
Excellent.
Oh, please be high enough. Oh, God. 14.
That will do it. Okay. But you spent a little bit of extra time, but I think that's around definitely going to get you at least a good amount of the way. How long will this take, though? And what will have happened in the meantime? Actually, what we're going to do, can you roll me a d12? You don't want to roll high or low. You want to roll in the middle.
Interesting.
Yeah. You might want to roll high or low, but in theory, you'd want to roll in the middle. Okay, cool.
Middle-ish?
Yeah. Okay. So, about an hour after you get back on the trail, so almost 2 hours have passed. Admand's almost awake at this point. I need Istria to roll me another perception check.
Oh god. Bandits ambushing us. I'm worried. Here we go.
Ooh. Okay. Yes. As you see, you get you find yourself actually on a bit of a forest trail, and you hear the rushing of river water ahead of you, which makes it quite difficult for Istria to sort of hear sounds. There's also that sound of wildlife and things making a deafening sound. So it's kind of difficult for Istria to discern noise, and she's trying to keep her wits about her, but you've been traveling for 2 hours, you're just involved in quite a brutal battle, and so she's not at her top performance, and she misses the sight of something. So without sort of notice or reckoning...
I know that there's something else. This is torture.
Without prior notice, a crossbow bolt flies at Kratz from above.
Probably with advantage. Oh no. Oh no.
22.
Yes, that hits. Oh no. Oh god, Kratz is such low health.
That is enough damage. Okay, I'm gonna get you onto a battle map here, but Kratz is unconscious as you start.
Is the worst case scenario.
All right, can you see all right? There's no dynamic?
This is a huge map. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
We're not gonna need all of it. It's the top left you need to look at.
Wow. Interesting. He's got a little chest.
He does appear to have a large lockbox at his feet. Can you deduct your hit points from Kratz, please? And then when you're ready, roll me initiative.
Fucking shit. This is so bad already. Oh, man.
Oh, we need to... Hold on. Oh, never mind. That's fine. You will see initiative properly. Initiative's kind of fucked on my end, but I can fix that. Dorian's not here. There's not a wolf here. Kratz rolled 16. All right, there we go. So I get... Well, it was a surprise round... Yeah, but it doesn't matter. So Kratz would have been surprised, Istria would have been surprised, the bandit took his turn, new turn, nobody's surprised anymore. Kratz death saving throw.
Kratz is... It can't be anything, because he's unconscious.
Yeah.
He's dreaming of a sweeter place. Or maybe he's having horrible nightmares, I don't know.
Either way, I need a death save. Okay, that's one fail.
So bad.
Actually, I think a better way of doing this, even though... So, imagine you were technically there, but I'm going to move you guys to here. Because what I'm going to say is, because I say this is how I run things, just to keep things simple. If you get off the map, then we'll end combat, and it turns into chase rules. So that gives you a chance of actually getting off the map.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright. Yeah, it's Istria's turn. She knows where the bandit is. Not hidden or anything, because he made an attack.
Yeah, this bandit's a real piece of work. How tall does this look?
Each of these cliffs are 10 feet. So this first one is 10 feet, and then the second one is also 10 feet.
This is going to be a goddamn problem.
These trees will provide cover.
Would Istria... So that part of the problem here is that Istria's hand crossbow does not have great range. I mean, it can fire at this range, it just would take disadvantage. Is Istria proficient with Kratz's longbow?
Well, Istria has the proficiencies of a rogue.
Yeah, I don't know what... Probably not, I'm guessing, then. I don't know off the top of my head what a rogue has.
I'm checking. They have simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. And I believe a longbow is not a simple weapon.
It's a martial,
so,
yeah. Damn. All right. Well, let's see. So we could move up. I could. I mean, I could still use it and just not get the
Not
proficiency
at the
bonus.
proficiency bonus, yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20. Jesus Christ. And there's some. I mean, there's some fucked shit that could happen here. What are the rules for dragging?
We've played around a lot with this, so I think I'll just go with the simple ones for now, which is that you can drag Kratz at half speed. Or actually, the way we ended up doing it is that So I think this is the simplest way of doing it. While you're dragging, you spend 5 feet to move yourself, and then you can spend 5 feet to move the person you're dragging.
Okay, that's not too bad.
So the reason why it's not quite half speed is, for example, you could spend 10 feet and drag Kratz to here without you moving yourself at all. So yeah, it's you can move the person you're dragging or yourself for 5 feet.
I kind of like that. That's a fun rule. Okay. Something I'm worried about is the only way history is going to win this is using rogue trickery. But I'm worried that if I just leave Kratz and I'm not a valid target, this guy will just keep shooting arrows at Kratz to like draw Istria out. So the first thing I need to do is move Kratz to.
It's worth mentioning, if you haven't thought about it, that the Kratz is prone, so ranged attacks against him do have disadvantage.
It's true. What I'm wondering is, could I get him even better cover if I moved him to this tree?
Yeah, for sure. These trees, they're tall, they have leaves, they will provide various degrees of cover.
I just want to be certain that he doesn't get ganked by this guy, because I want to make sure that. Well, that's what I want to make sure. I want to make sure that he's in that at the very least Kratz does not get murdered by arrows. So, and I don't know if you would do that, but it's the kind of thing I would do. So I'm not going to take chances. I'm going to move 5 feet.
You've killed all of this man's friends, so he's not.
I have.
Yeah.
I'm moving Kratz 5 feet.
Yep.
That's 10. I'm moving 5 feet. That's 15. I'm moving Kratz 5 feet, and now he's into a nice little bush.
I'm gonna call that. Well, roll me a d20, and on a 10 or higher, it's 3/4 cover, because I'm kind of indecisive. Okay, so it's 3/4 cover there from the.
That's awesome. So to shoot at him, disadvantage plus 5 AC. That's pretty hard to hit.
Effective minus 10 on the attack. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Istria is going to. Istria is also probably that's gonna be 25 feet. It's probably also pretty well covered if I move there. I am then going to use my action to try to stabilize Kratz. Because if I'm gonna do that, it's got to be now, so I can.
Doesn't matter in this case, but it brings it up, and I don't know if it's in the campaign doc. One of my rules is that you can only each character can only receive 1 medicine check to stabilize per round.
Okay, yeah.
So if you've got 3 characters,
you couldn't have 5 characters get around and start take breaks, take turns resuscitating. Yes. Okay. Cool. That makes sense. And it's wisdom. Here we
wisdom, if no medicine proficiency. DC's always 10. Kratz is stable. You did use Kratz's wisdom there. Is Istria's any different?
Oh, shit. I think Istria's higher. Istria's is +2. Okay. So it'd be 13. That was my bad. But yeah.
It's all good.
Okay, so I'm going to take Kratz away then, because he's just chilling now. Okay.
I'm going to take him off the initiative order, but we will put him back on at 16 if it ever becomes relevant.
If he gets shot at and starts bleeding to death again.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I am then going to use cunning action to hide. If it's possible, since I'm in cover.
It is. I'm just going to warn you, the bandit will know you're behind the tree, but if you're able to get a shot off afterwards, I'm okay with it being at advantage, because he doesn't know exactly where you are.
I wouldn't be able to get a shot off this turn, because I already used my... I guess we should talk about how stealth works, because I'm hoping that once I'm hidden, my understanding is that I could sneak at half movement to other positions where he doesn't know I'm at. Full movement.
Yeah. I used to think the half movement thing, but I can't remember which feature it was. But I saw a feature that interacted with this and was like, if you only move half your movement on your turn while stealthed or something. And I was like, okay, well that implies that stealthing should be at full movement. What was the rest of your sentence?
The rest of my sentence
like,
was,
can
I sneak to another position where he doesn't know I'm on in my turn if I'm successfully hidden?
If you're successfully hidden and you eventually move to a different location, he will think you're behind this tree still, yeah.
That's exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to use bonus action hide this turn.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, fuck, that's so bad. God damn it, Istria.
It's bad, but it might still...
Because he has to roll.
What's the defender here? I guess your stealth is setting the DC. That makes sense to me. So he meets it, yeah.
But he's the bad guy, so fuck it. All right. That's Istria's turn.
Okay. Yeah, okay, the bandit's gonna shoot down here at 3/4 cover at Istria. It's probably gonna hit even with +5, right? Yeah. Oh my god, they're rolling crazy.
What happened to the 3 damage?
That was the scimitars.
Damn it. The crossbows do 7 every time.
It did 7 on Kratz too, didn't it? It did.
Yes.
That's crazy, man. Anyway, it's Istria's turn again.
Fuck. Istria's like, well, I'm not in.
And I think even though the shot did hit and hit well, it sort of feels Istria. Actually, let me have Istria roll a perception check here at disadvantage because she's in the middle of battle. Yeah, this guy's shooting crossbow bolts at her. She's scared. She's worried. She doesn't. She's in pain.
She starts screaming and running. Okay. Istria is going to move up to here. And what is the cover situation at the base of this cliff?
For you?
Yeah.
I'm going to say half.
Okay. What's his cover situation from my position?
I'm going to say 3/4 because he has the high ground.
Oh, man. Okay. I am going to take a shot at him.
I will allow you to have taken the shot, because I'm nice today, 1 square back at half cover.
That's huge. So, like, take the shot and then keep moving.
And then keep moving, yeah.
Okay. $14
with half cover is just hits. Just hits. Wow.
Huge.
That's massive. Oh! Oh, hit him right underneath the chest. He coughs, a little bit of blood pops out. Almost drops the crossbow down the mountain. He has to grab it.
Falls down. Breaks his leg. Istria is then going to bonus action hide, if it's possible.
It is. Yeah, definitely.
And I've kind of switched tactics. Last fight I was using hide as an attack strategy. Here I'm using it as a defense strategy because it can hopefully keep me a little bit safe if I can succeed. Here we go. 14. Let's see.
Okay. I mean, he's knocked through a loop right now, so he's a little bit shaken. Is that the end of Istria's turn?
That's the end of Istria's turn.
Okay. He's going to make a quick wisdom check for morale. That's not terrible. He also still thinks he's in a bit of an advantageous position. Okay. He reloads the crossbow. You can hear him reload the crossbow, but I don't think you can actually kind of see him at this point, so you don't know exactly what he's doing. It's your turn.
I am going to... So I guess, question on the rules of being hidden.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to crouch out from here to take the half cover shot and still get the advantage of being hidden?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do with this, I will let you take the shot from your original position, 3/4 cover at advantage, if you can move, and I'll give him a perception check.
Perception against my original stealth, or do I roll a new stealth?
Original stealth.
Original stealth wasn't terrible. 14. I will just... Oh, man. I'm conflicted. Because the difference is pretty huge. The difference is plus... It's plus 2 or plus 5, right? To AC.
So, yep.
It's... Okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to crouch out. And then roll stealth. No, I don't roll stealth. You roll perception.
Yes. Okay, he doesn't react quick enough, so you get the benefit.
This is huge. Okay.
If you kill him, he won't get his red action. That hits. Ah, and he's dead. You slay him. He tumbles down.
Yes. This is a Rambo moment. Istria is like, covered in blood, breaks off the crossbow bolt, smokes a cigar, cauterizes the wound, sits there, smokes 3, 4, 5 cigars in a row, and then
that's all our money, Istria.
And then is going to look around and make sure there's no other bandits.
Perception check.
You're pretty sure that it's just him, right? Does she recognize him at all? Like, that might be hard, but...
I mean, you saw him like an hour ago. This is definitely the guy, right?
This is the guy. Yeah. Cool. I just want to make sure it wasn't a random bandit. That would be rough.
No, this looks like it's the same dude. He was hurt as well, so I think it'd be pretty obvious because he had 2 hit points missing, which I realized actually was from the magic missile. But there's still some signs, like there's rips in the armor.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, 14. I mean, she's a little bit on edge, but she's fairly certain that the only things on this map now are small animals.
Okay, quickly, she's just gonna move and just double check on Kratz, and that I could roll Kratz's D4.
Yep. He's stable.
Oh, fuck. That's brutal. Okay, I was really hoping for the 1. That would have made this a lot less complicated. Okay, Istria is now going to... do I need to make checks for this?
No. Not if you take your time. If you want to rush up there, we can make some checks. But if you want to take
she's going to sprint really quickly. No, she will take her time, not at all rushing. And then she is going to get up there. And what's this? It looks like a chest.
Yeah, it's a little lockbox. It's not like a full chest, but it looks... Yeah, it's a lockbox.
Okay. So small enough that she could take it with her.
Yeah, it's like... I'm going to say it weighs... Well, there's coin inside as well. Why don't we say 15 pounds? I think that's pretty reasonable.
Oh, okay. She's going to scramble back down the cliff with it, and then his body's down at the base of the cliff, right?
Yeah.
So she's got to also search him, see what his possessions are.
He's got Admand's money pouch.
Yes. We got that.
And he's got his crossbow, his scimitar, and some crossbow bolts.
She will take his crossbow bolts, refill her own. And which we're just kind of hand waving, but I do like the idea that she's just constantly replenishing from these people she's killed, which makes it make even more sense. And then she is going to piss on him, and no, I'm just kidding. And then we'll scramble back down to hang out with Kratz, and is going to look at the lockbox.
Yeah, it's fairly simple. It's mostly wood. There's some iron banding on it, and then there's a simple sort of key lock on it. It does appear to be locked.
And he didn't have a key.
He did not have a key.
Well, thankfully, Istria has the universal key, and she is going to attempt to open it.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Cracks it open. Oh, one other thing she would notice on it.
Kratz did open?
One other thing Istria would notice is that it has the Coppertone Toolery logo on it.
This is the thing.
Would you still have wanted to crack it open?
No, we don't need to.
Okay.
I mean, they'll have the key, presumably. If they don't, I could always open it later.
Yeah.
And we are gonna get half the money in there. And I think Istria, if Istria was on her own, she would more strongly consider just taking all the money, because it's like, well, they're fools. They lost it. It's ours now. But she knows that would annoy Admand, and she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to cause any rift there. So she is, I think, if you think it's fair, not going to
That's fine.
take it all, and is going to keep it safe. And I think the only thing I can really think here, it would be in. I mean, how far did we walk to get here? Like 2 hours, you said?
You're about an hour and a half. No, like an hour. Just over an hour away from the lair, because you had to backtrack a little bit.
I don't see any way that I could get Kratz to back there in his state without hurting him. Because, I mean, even if you said I think it's probably not reasonable that someone could drag someone for that long without getting tired. But even if I could, it would probably injure the shit out of Kratz being dragged for 2 hours on the ground, or 3 hours, or however long it would be. So
you'd have to carry him, and I'd imagine Istria's strength is like 10 at most, right?
14. No, I'm just kidding. It's 11. It's 11, but I assume he's a big guy. Like,
yeah.
So unless you think it would be reasonable.
If you wanted to try it mechanically, we just look at carrying capacity, because I'm sure Istria would be heavily encumbered, but maybe she would be under her capacity, at which point I'd allow you to do it. If you wanted to try.
So we could look into it real quick. So 11 times 5 would be 55. So
that's not the carrying capacity. That would be her first encumbrance level, right?
Well, I was just trying to figure out. You mean like figure out her max to see yeah. So the max would be times 15, right? Or times 20.
I don't know off the top of my head. I rarely use capacity anymore. No, it's not encumbrance. It would be carrying capacity, but I typed that in and I didn't get anything.
Isn't it encumbrance?
Encumbrance is the variant rule, I think, that we're using, which it does apply. She will be heavily encumbered, but carrying capacity is the actual maximum.
I think it's listed under this rules for strength.
Yes, I think you're right. Strength. Takes a while to search strength because it's
okay. So it's according to this is 15.
15. Okay.
It would be
165.
165.
I think
that sounds right.
I think Kratz alone, with all of his gear, probably weighs more than that. Let alone what Istria's already carrying. Right?
Okay. So to make him lighter, Istria is going to cut his arms and legs off. No, just kidding. No. I think Istria then he's going to. We're kind of exposed. This is kind of like a road that we're next to.
It's a little trail. It's smaller than it looks on the map. I just grabbed it. This is just a map. I think it's probably a little smaller than this.
Okay. Because on the map it
looks like a proper road. Yeah.
All right. So Istria in this case will drag him a little bit. I think we're just going to drag him over here so that he's kind of a little bit concealed. I mean, that's fine. I just want him to be in between these trees so that he's a little bit concealed, that we're both a little bit concealed.
Sure.
And I think she's just going to have to wait with him until he wakes up.
Okay.
And hope that the others don't panic.
Yeah. First things first, then, we can go back to the lair where
Dorian's panicking.
Where Admand will have awakened at this point.
I am Admand, son of honor.
He has 1 hit point.
He stands up, sees that Haldra is down. Sees the other prisoners are still sort of stuck, unfortunately. And sees Dorian and the captives, and sees that they're tied up, and sees a dead Romara, and is like, Oh God, she's probably starting to stink. Jeez, we're gonna have to deal with that. Um. Admand walks up and says, "Dorian, what happened? I was knocked out by that fiend Bromara."
What does Dorian say?
Oh, hey boss, we were no. Dorian will tell him that that he. I imagine Dorian would communicate it very confidently that they fought to the last, that they were pushed back into this room, and that Dorian single-handedly, that Dorian, along with Istria and Kratz, and a little bit of help from from Ulrich, although he never hit once, that they pinned down the bandits, killed Bromara. These two surrendered. One of them with a little extra encouragement. And that, but the bad news is one of the bandits made it out with your money. And when Admand hears about this, as no, but then Dorian says, "Well, Istria and Kratz are fast on their heels." And Admand says, "That is good. They were wise to follow. We need that money. You need that money. We all need money. We can't not have money in life. What is this? I trust that they will find them. We'll give them. Well, we'll give them a day or so before we start worrying. I think could take a while to find that wily little bandit. In the meantime, since we don't have the aid of our good friend Istria, Admand will walk up to the other prisoners and say, I could break you out with my hammer, by force."
I think by this point, 'cause it's been 2 hours, I think somebody will have found a keyring on Bromara.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and probably have released these two.
Never mind. They're like, we're not chained. Wait, why are you raising your hammer? Hold out your arms. I think that Admand says, "Dorian, keep an eye on the prisoners. Ulrich and I think, are going to have a discussion away from them." I say, "Ulrich, come with me."
Okay, he nods, he follows. Oops, he follows very closely. That's the hammer. I mean, the axe.
Oh, I'll grab it.
Okay.
And once we get into this room, he'll say, "Okay, hopefully we're away from their villainous ears. Not that it matters too much."
The waterfall's pretty loud in this room.
Oh, let's go down here.
Not like, you could hear each other, but you'd have to strain a little bit to hear. In here, it's better.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
Oh, a campfire. We should really hang out in here. This is much better.
There are campfires in the other room as well, to be fair.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
We got to do something about all those bodies, though. They're starting to stink.
Put them in the river.
Corpse swarm. Corpse wave. Admand says, "So, Ulrich, I don't know if any of my compatriots already mentioned it, but, we came here to rescue you, partly because, I will be honest, we didn't realize it was a rescue mission until recently. At first, we were just looking for you. We were looking to talk to you about the possibility of you providing us with some information. Our group has been tasked by Dagnall Silverbeard with finding the location of Kundrakar. Well, rather, not just finding it, but going inside and seeing what riches lie within."
Roll me a persuasion check at advantage to convince Ulrich that what you say is true, that you're working with Dagnall.
Did you say with advantage or just yeah?
Advantage, okay. Yeah. You just saved this guy's life, and you mentioned Dagnall's name. Yeah. Um, so, remind me, what was the end of your sentence again? What was the actionable? What were you asking of him?
It was we're looking for information on the location of Kundrakar. We want to get the riches within, and we were sent by Dagnall. We were told by Dagnall that you were actually going to meet with him recently, perhaps to discuss such information, such subjects.
Yeah, I think at this point as well, Ulrich will have retrieved his pack, his satchel. So he has that, and wouldn't have had it before you were knocked out. And he says, yes, that's actually the reason why I agreed to go to Blessing Dell. I heard rumors that Kundrakar was in that region, and that I might be able to find out more information from the townsfolk there. But it was a little strange. The people in Blessing Dell were very hesitant to speak about Kundrakar. The older folks that I talked to, they seemed to recognize the name but refused to tell me anything about it. And the younger folks seemed actually to genuinely not know anything. So it was a little difficult to find any information, but I was persistent. There was one family that I spoke to out in the countryside who told me that their daughters had recently been captured by a band of orcs and taken into the hills. They had theorized that perhaps these orcs were in Kundrakar, that they had stationed themselves there after they took the fortress during the war. Nobody else was really willing to speak with me, but I was able to find a strange merchant, also in the countryside. He dealt in odds and ends, trinkets, things that he came across, oddities. And one of the things he found, and Ulrich pulls out of his pack a small, kind of rolled up piece of parchment. One of the things he had for sale was this map, which I will show to you. In players' journals and show. I believe, given the rumors and legends, that Kundrakar lays in the mountain of the Stone Tooth.
I see. Fascinating map. What is this? And I point to that, what is it, like a pink symbol?
Yeah.
Halfway between.
I said, this is the farmhouse of the family that was willing to speak with me. I marked it so that I could return.
And each of those are farmhouses, those marks, those
farmhouses or small towns, yes.
How many people, how big is Blessing Dell?
Blessing Dell is quite large. Blessing Dell's quite large. About 2,000 people live in the town. It's a sort of a central point between many old farming and mining villages. And during the war, it became a trade post. And after the war, it has remained active. Lots of merchants go there to take advantage of the Lord's Alliance subsidy scheme.
Good. I was in support of the subsidy scheme. I thought it was a good policy.
Yeah. It was controversial at the time.
I'm sure it was controversial. I mean, trying to get anything passed these days.
Certainly, the fact that it's still in force is incredibly controversial, considering the war ended 5 years ago.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to learn more about what this is. I don't really. Who are the subsidies going to?
Merchant companies and caravans.
Ah, I see. Maybe they're on the take. I get it. Very good. So a few folks in the area of Blessing Dell, they know about this place, and you think it's in the Stone Tooth.
I think so. That's what the rumors and that's what the legends say. Those trails, he points on the map to the dotted lines, they're not fantastically maintained, but they're easy enough to follow so long as you have light. The whole area is under the darkness.
The darkness is in the apocalyptic cloud that covers half the land.
Yeah, this is the very same.
Yes. So you're saying like the border of the darkness is like just past Blassingdale.
Blassingdale itself is under the darkness.
How do people live here? Do they farm? What's their life?
They are still farming. There are some crops that have survived. They're mainly mainly a mining town though. These trade caravans keep them alive. Lots of food goes in and ore comes back. Generally,
it's so funny to me. Just constant darkness. Well, I guess if you're underground a lot.
Most people left the Shadowlands after the war, but some people stayed where they were. They tried to, some people stayed and tried to keep their livelihood and then got destroyed by the armies of darkness. Some people stayed and, couldn't sustain themselves because the infrastructure just wasn't there anymore. And some towns just have survived, but rare.
The land of darkness, when we say dark, do we mean like dark like a cloudy day? Do we mean dark like night? Do we mean dark like
a screen has covered the moon? You know what I mean? Like there is no light that comes from the sky anymore.
So pitch black.
There is some very slight amounts of residual light that travel from outside of the Shadowlands, right? Because the other, like, for example, if you're right on the border of it, some light from, say, Mirabar will travel, but obviously a lot of that gets blocked out by trees and mountains and hills and things like that. Also, one of the other big Lords Alliance policies, aside from the subsidy scheme that they introduced towards the end of the war, is these light points. So they would build these small towers with flames on top of them to try and help light people's way on major routes. The only one in this area though is in Blassingdale itself. They have this big light tower,
which would in theory make it
easy to find,
not too hard to find. Yeah.
Although it's in the middle of the forest, so you'd have to have some sort of vantage point.
So this does mean, like, if you don't have dark vision, you're going to have to basically constantly have torches when you're there.
Yeah,
or some sort of light.
Some sort of light, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Okay. Then Admand says, well, this is all very good, Ulrich. Well, I must ask what your interest in all this was. Were you interested in going there, or were you just interested in selling the information, or just archaeological curiosity? What brought you into this?
I get itchy feet. I like to travel around. These things keep me busy and give me places to go. And yes, I can make a little bit of coin from it. Dagnall promised me coin for the information if I found anything of use. Please do tell him I found this map. Although Dagnall can be a intimidating figure, and I think I may lay low a little.
Already, yes, I don't agree with him, but I think you've already burned your bridges with him merely by being late. I mentioned to him that you were likely that you could be dead, and he said you still shouldn't have missed your appointment. And I thought
that sounds like Dagnall.
It sounded a little harsh to me, but anyway, I will give him the information.
He will come around, given time.
I'm sure. And I will advise him that he reward you for the information.
Thank you.
I will also give you an offer if you're interested. We are putting together this expedition. You could join our company. Not as a fighter, well, unless you wanted to train as one. But we will need people to mind camp, perform administrative services, things like this. There's always room for hired hands if you're interested.
Well, I can't say I'm particularly effective at putting up a tent or cooking, but I do know the roads.
Oh, you're terrible. Oh, you know the roads.
Yes, I hazard to say that I've been on most of the caravan routes out of Mirabar over the last 20 years.
So would this just be if we brought him, it would just make it a lot easier not to get lost then?
I think I'd just probably make him into an expert. he might not have he might not even have higher survival skill than Kratz, though. But he would be another potential. If you wanted to maybe split up groups, maybe it might be useful to have another expert around. And obviously, we might do some. Obviously, we'll lean into the role play a little bit. So maybe if you were looking for somewhere, he would know, and maybe you wouldn't have to go asking around about it.
Well, we could consider it. Is he? I mean, is he? Does it? Are you interested?
I'm interested if the pay is good and I'm given the opportunity to travel. I'm open to such things.
Well, how about this? We'll for now we'll focus on getting everyone back safely to Mirabar, and I'll discuss it with the rest of the company, and we'll come to a decision. We do a share scheme, so if you're a member of the company, you get shares in it, and you get paid based on your share in the company. I sort of shake hands with him. Is he just straight up giving me the map? It's mine.
Yeah, I think so. He impresses on you that you tell Dagnall he's given it to you, but yeah, he's happy
and
for you to have it.
He would give it to Dagnall, but he's worried Dagnall will kill him or imprison him or something. No one skips a meeting. But Dagnall, it was an 80-year-old man and he died of natural causes. Then he shouldn't have made the meeting if he was close to dying.
I told the clerics I want to speak with him now.
Resurrect him.
Do you have speak with dead, or are you useless?
Yeah, so Admand is Admand takes the map, shakes his hand, and says, "Thank you very much, Ulrich. You've been of great help, and I'm glad that we were able to get you out of this scrape. This is this is not a good situation playing out here."
Yeah, well, it's a lot better now that Bromara is dead. She was definitely the most active bandit leader in the area.
All right. Well,
although now that she's dead, I'm sure some young upstart will try to take over the routes she was raiding.
Well, we killed everyone in a 50-mile radius, so I don't know.
But they were all loyal to Bromara. There are still other groups that terrorize these roads from time to time.
Oh, well, damn it. Oh, well.
The cycle of life.
Our vacuums must be filled and all, but that's not my job.
No.
I did my best.
You did. You did a good thing.
Yes. And we will be rewarded handsomely by the axe, which is not too bad. I am going to I'm going to get to work. You rest up, try to get some try to heal up, and that's basically it. And then I think after this, Admand is going to move. If any of the people want to help, then that's fine. But he's not going to force anyone to do it because he knows it's gruesome work. He's going to move all the dead bodies outside of the cave because we're sleeping here tonight, and it's going to get gross. So he's going to move them. I also don't want to just put them in the stream because I don't think the stream is very... It's not really going to carry them far. Then they're just going to be wet, bloated corpses. That's gross.
I mean, I know you're adverse to it, which makes sense. But I guess you don't have a shovel, so it's going to take so long to dig.
Shovel, man, with my fingers. I mean, I could burn them. We could burn the bodies.
It takes a while, but you've got a while.
But the problem is, I don't think Admand would do this because I mean, to burn bodies, we'd have to make a pretty big fire. I don't think that would be safe to do inside a cave. And if we did it outside, if there are other bandits that are loyal to Bromara, it would just be like a beacon to them. And then we're not in a position to deal with anyone else right now. So Admand is just going to carry the bodies, throw them outside into the woods, let Mother Nature take its course. Is going to search all of them for any money or valuables or anything good and delicious that they have. But will leave for the most part anything that's too heavy. Like, he's not interested in their weapons. But did they have any spare change on any of these other bodies?
I think there would be some spare change that you wouldn't have pilfered yet. That's a good roll. Let's say 90 silver pieces. across all of the bodies.
90?
90.
Oh,
pieces.
nice. Dope. I thought you were saying a fun way of saying 9. I thought you said 90, and I'm
90.
like, oh, never heard that.
Bramara had her key ring. There's like 5 keys on there. One of they look very. There's like, there's keys for the shackles and they look uniform, and then there's one key that looks like it's smaller and it looks different, of a different make.
Could be for the. Admand doesn't know this, but could be for the lockbox, perhaps.
Here in Bramara's room, there is a stash of shit, like as you can see at the bottom here.
Yes, and I was going to, or you were going to say?
Well, Ulrich's taken his pack from there, and the civilians you've rescued have all taken their things from there already.
Okay, beautiful. So it's all basically just loot now.
It's all the stuff that either stuff from the caravan that these people don't want to lay claim to. Maybe Haldra's stuff is there. You're not sure exactly what's hers, other than
Haldra by now might, or soon would be up. I mean, I don't know. After moving all the bodies,
I don't think we're quite at the. We haven't skipped forward to you having finished the bodies yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess we can. We can do that. I guess if Admund's not going to touch this stuff until Haldra's awake, we can wait. But if we're going to do that, I would like you to roll me 2d12.
2d12. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh god, I must have fucked up something on my Excel spreadsheet. There's a -1 value somewhere. That should not happen. Fuck.
Is that for money?
It's so there's a leftover. I have a leftover coin category to like when the coin doesn't divide evenly, it'll carry the leftover. But I must have fucked up something because that should not have. I'll figure that out. Sorry, you asked me to roll something. Roll
2d12.
Ooh, maybe that's good.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to check that. I think the 11
It's
is...
that many hours until you've moved all the bodies.
Okay. Right, I guess... what's the best way of doing this? I think the best way of doing this, actually, is to head over, because that 10 was for our friends out on the trail, and they do not get an encounter, which means we can skip forward to when Kratz awakens with 1 hit point. Could you also roll me another d12 when you get the time?
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, cool. So yes, Kratz is awake. Kratz has 1 hit point. What are those two going to do?
Istria makes sure that he's in shape to walk, and is going to show him the lockbox. What time is it? I mean, maybe we don't know the exact time, but where's the sun?
I'll just
Does
go.
It seem like it's afternoon.
Yeah. The characters don't know, but I'll just tell you the exact time to make it easier. I think it's around 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Okay, that's fine. If it was super late, I might consider like camping here, but it would have to be really late to justify it. So I think Istria, and we don't have any camping equipment, so we'd literally just be sleeping under the stars. So Istria and Kratz are going to hike I think hike back, leave the body, screw it, and just start walking back to the bandit hideout.
Cool. Back at the bandit hideout then, as Haldra is not quite awake yet. Or maybe she is. Yeah, she's awake, but she's recovering. She's maybe eating some rations on her own somewhere in the cave while you're finishing up the body disposal. One of the civilians will head over to Dorian and tell him how they ended up here, because they are different to the rest of these captives. Everybody aside from this woman, this half-elven woman, was on the caravan. But she was not. She is a refugee from Rivermoot in the Silver Marches. She and her family were traveling through the woods, and it was a very difficult journey, but eventually they got pretty close to the edge of the woods. They thought they were only a couple of days away from Mirabar when they were attacked by these bandits, and she was taken away. She's not sure how many of her family are still alive, but she thinks they might have... Their plan always when they go if they were to get separated was to try to meet back up at Lurk Watch, which is the outpost ran by the Lancers of Kelemvor in the forest.
That's pretty far, right?
Yeah.
All right. Good luck. No.
She does.
No. Dorian's like, oh, geez. Okay. Well, I'll talk to Admand about it, and we'll see what we can do. You think your family might be there then?
She thinks that if any of them are still alive, that she hopes they probably made their way there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any idea how many days walk that is?
So you'd probably head back up to Kelemvor Point, and then take the road. And then on the road, it's 12, 24, 36. Well, let's just count hexes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hexes. And on the road, on a good day, I think you can go 2 hexes. So, 5
days.
Yeah.
And it's like in the opposite direction of Mirabar. So it's like however far we walk there, we have to walk back.
Yeah, I'll put you on the... you obviously can't see Lurk Watch, but it's to the east on the road from Kelemvor Point. It's run by the Lancers of Kelemvor.
Oh no! Also, for some reason, the map has forgotten the things I've already seen, and it's gone back to just being like 2 circles.
Ah, that's a shame. I can semi-fix that now for you.
Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna go up to Mirabar as well. I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I have been there.
Yep. Okay.
There we go.
You good? Okay. It might have been when I copied the game. Hopefully, it doesn't do it again.
Yes. So it would just be directly east on that road. Okay. Yeah. Well, we will do our best. When Admand hears about this, he says, "I'll need to discuss it with everyone, but I think we'll be able to figure out a way to accommodate you."
Haldra's got her armor on, and she's got her sword back. She gives you back any items she might have from the fight.
Oh yeah, all the weapons. It's like you. And once she's taken all of her stuff, Admand's going to make an accounting of how much stuff the bandits have.
Excellent. There are... it's mostly crap. There's a bunch of goods here, just like grain or things like that are heavy, bulky, and are valuable in large quantity. But
we need a cart.
Yeah, you probably would. It would be difficult to transport. I think Admund has maybe seen enough mining product to know that roughly for every 50 pounds of this stuff, you're going to get about 20 gold from it. So it's not a particularly valuable...
How many pounds worth of stuff is there?
It could be maybe, as a rough estimate, about 200 pounds.
Might be worth like bringing something back to get all this stuff. I don't know. Or at least telling someone about it. Okay.
Although all of this is caravan goods, though, so technically it would belong to.
So it's not ours. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
they're probably going to
just tell them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Other than that, though, that because there is some less bulky stuff here.
Yes.
There are some
a diadem of laser eyes.
There are some things that are clearly not from the caravan that the bandits have pilfered. Little small trinkets and valuables, including a carved bone statue of a bird, maybe an eagle.
I think I know what this is. That's exciting. But Admand doesn't, and he's like, what's this?
There's a copper chalice that has silver filigree. There's a silver ewer. And I figured out what that was when I wrote that, but I've forgotten now. It's a large jug or a pitcher. Cool. There's a small, very, very...
It's a silver pitcher?
Yeah. Ewer. E-W-E-R. It's a type of pitcher.
I've never heard of this term. That's cool.
There is a small mirror in a painted wooden frame. It's got a dark sort of finish on it. Then there are 2 satchels that they've clearly yoinked over the months that have sort of nice, intricate patterns on them. And Dorian will tell you that they do look like the kind of satchels that wizards might have. Inside one of them. There are 2, yeah. They've robbed 2 wizards on this road.
Yeah, well, they did. It is funny because when they loved Dorian, they're a wizard. So like maybe that's like maybe it's because whenever they've found a wizard, they've had like a huge payday.
Yeah, so they're like, squishy, they're easy to kill, and they have so much loot.
You know who proved? But you know what? They found out. Dorian is not squishy, he's not easy to kill, and he's penniless. So, terrible target.
He's perfect. One of the satchels has a set of interconnected 3 scroll cases that are connected together, and there are scrolls in each. They have little symbols on them. 2 of them have the same symbol, which is like these roots, these vines, and then the other one has a symbol of like audio, like a speaker with the audio little lines on it. It's just those audio lines.
Interesting.
The other wizard satchel has a small box, and when you open it, there are 3 vials or containers in it, 2 of which are sort of thin flasks with a red liquid, and then one of them is like a round bottom flask. It's a lot bigger, and it also has a red liquid in it.
So what's nice is I was just thinking like, oh man, how are we going to figure out what any of this shit does? And I just realized that Dorian has Identify, and we can just, when we get back to town, he can go to town on identifying stuff. So, so I think, and he might already have suspicions on, what the scrolls do. I don't know, because he would probably know more than me. But this is great. And then I make sure that those bags, they're not magical, right? Like they clearly are. They seem just to be mundane bags, right?
They seem to be mundane, but they're nice.
When you said the satchel a wizard would have, I was picturing the like bag of holding picture from the game DM's guide, because it looks like a satchel.
It does.
But yeah,
I mean, when you reach,
nice.
You've been fiddling around in them looking for stuff, and they don't feel extra dimensional.
Yeah, they don't feel cosmic.
No,
I don't have to make a sanity roll.
They're not bigger on the inside.
Yeah, they're not the TARDIS. I will hand. I think Dorian takes one because he's like, "Ooh, this is the proper satchel a wizard should have," and so he sort of takes one to have. Unbeknownst to him, it'll just make him a target for bandits.
He can handle it. He's the bandit slayer.
He is the bandit slayer.
Puppy kicker, bandit slayer.
Yes. Okay, that's fantastic. Anything else among the bandit stuff?
I think I gave you everything.
That's quite a lot. That's a good horde. That's a good haul.
And the money in the lockbox, half of which is owed to you.
So I'm guessing the vials are potions of some sort. The scrolls are magic scrolls. I do not know off the top of my head, out of character, what the chalice, the pitcher, or the mirror do. And who knows? One of them could just be valuable. I mean, I guess we'll find out. But the carving, out of character, I believe, can turn into like a servant animal that can do things for us.
You think? I think what you're thinking of is called is it a figurine of wondrous power?
Yeah, is that not what this is then? Oh, interesting. Oh,
who's to say?
Who's to say?
You'll have to. Well, does Dorian have detect magic?
That's a great question. Let's find out. Dorian has. That would be useful. He has Mage Hand, Message, Comprehend Languages, Magic Missile, Mage Armor, Identify, and Featherfall.
Okay. So you'll be able to identify it when it gets back, but he's not able to tell which of these things are magical at this time.
Would he be able to look at the scrolls and figure out what spells they are just from like reading runes, or would that also need to be identified?
I think under normal circumstances it would need to be identified, but these scrolls have those little symbols on them. So I'm willing to let him have an Arcana check at those symbols, yeah. Yeah, I think that's good enough. He theorizes that the two scrolls with the little vines are scrolls of Entangle, and the other one might be a scroll of Thaumaturgy.
Interesting. Entangle cannot be used by him, right? It's a druid and a ranger scroll.
Okay.
And then Thaumaturgy
might be
that
the same.
also sounds, but that's okay. Thaumaturgy is Thaumaturgy is where does it say?
Cleric spell, I think.
Cleric. Yep, cleric. So I have two thoughts. Either we just sell them, or when Istria levels up, maybe at some point she gets trick magic item. Oh. I don't know. That's a thiefy thing, but that's not really. I don't have much. I don't know if that's even possible. So probably we'll look into selling them, but that's good. They'll probably sell for quite a lot. I imagine scrolls are valuable, so at least something. I don't know. They'll sell for something.
I don't think there's anything in the current rules about thieves being able to use magic scrolls in 5e, but I know that was a thing in older editions, so I might be able to be convinced. There might be actually. It might be in the thief subclass.
The thief subclass has trick magic. Let
me have a look. Use magic device. By 13th level, you have learned enough about the workings of magic that you can improvise the use of items even when they're not intended to you. You ignore all class, race, and level requirements on use of magic items. Okay. It's level 13 in Thief, but Istra is not a rogue. She's, I can't remember what her class is, but...
I think you literally called her Thief.
I think Thief, yeah. So, if I see, if we come across a level where I'm like, oh, that feature from the sidekick rules, I don't really like it, maybe we could stick that in there. Although because I think in the older editions, at least in 2nd edition, there was a failure chance. So we could, because this is a very powerful feature, it's just you can use them. Maybe we could give it to her at an earlier level, but she has to roll some sort of check.
Just a 10% chance of killing Admand outright.
Absolutely. Because to be fair, with scrolls, if you try to cast a spell that's higher than your level, there is a failure chance. So
yeah, I mean That's one of my favorite things of Dungeon Crawl Classics is that whenever you cast spells in that game, there's a chance that either it backfires and you hurt yourself, or you hurt your allies, or that you become mutated by chaotic magical energy and like a face grows on your back, or a second head comes out, or like just really horrible shit happens. I've always liked the idea that magic is one of the things I don't love about the traditional kind of fancy in magic is that I think sometimes it's a little too safe. Like I kind of like the idea of magic being
Fiddling with the unknown. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, being dangerous and scary, and I mean, like I like worlds in which wizards are terrifying and people think they're creeps, right? They're like, get away from me, you're going to kill us because you're so weird, and you live in a tower all day poring over books so that you can, like, they're mad scientists of the fantasy world, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, but I like that, so we could look into that maybe at some point.
Yeah.
But and something like that could actually be really useful in a campaign like this, because, well, we're not going to be able to cover all our bases with like spellcasters. So having something like that. Anyway, I think that in that case, Admand is going to take all these goods in, and hope no one in the caravan has much of a problem with it. It's a little shady because these are probably things that have been stolen from innocents, but well, those people are probably dead now.
Yeah,
so,
nobody's using them. It's, in this in this setting, in this day and age, it would be almost impossible for you to find the original owners of these things. As you say, some of them might not even be alive. I get, in some cases, people who are really, really, really lawful might say you should hand those in to the Stone Warden of Greenholt, which is technically the jurisdiction that you're in, but like almost nobody's ever gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll keep him.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. I did say Admand's a lawful neutral, but I don't think he's that lawful. That seems like tattling on yourself. Yeah. So I think that, and I think he justifies it. He thinks, hey, we saved the goddamn day here. We ridded this world of a bunch of bandits. We saved a bunch of people. We're the good guys. The good guys deserve a pat on the back. So he's going to take all this stuff, go back. I think actually I will, move him back on the map. And if you want to move Ulrich back, I don't know if it matters, but I'll just do it real quick.
I guess everyone's hanging out in Carlin's room. Is that the idea?
Yeah, and then we would have got... Oh, yeah, good. The bodies are gone. So, yeah, we got rid of the bodies. I think the last thing to deal with...
I think if you want to, I think also the other two can have come back by now if it's useful to you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Excellent. Ah, Istria! Ah, Kratz. Oh my god, Kratz, you look horrible. You look as bad as I do.
Why is Istria's health at 20 now?
I do not know. It was 14, I believe. Or no, 13.
13, yeah. One of Roll20's enduring mysteries.
one of the many arcane mysteries that Dorian is looking to solve. Why do some people randomly heal when they walk through doors? So Kratz is Kratz is looking rough. Istria will obviously give the box to Admand. Admand is going to see if the key fits, just to see if that's
the odd key on Barmara's keychain does unlock this box. Yes,
and he will visually inspect it to make sure that it has a decent amount of money inside, because that's what we were told would be in here.
Yeah, I think if you're just giving it a quick once over, there is thousands of copper pieces in this box.
Oh, copper, yes. Okay.
Hundreds of silver pieces in this box.
Oh, wow.
And then, at a quick glance, you see a good pile of gold pieces, maybe somewhere between 200, maybe 400 gold in here.
And what was the deal? We get half?
You get half.
That's not bad. Oh, but if we betrayed them, we'd get all of it. All of it! No, we will.
Oh, and I guess since the bodies have moved, I'll ask you this now. Did you take Bromara's head?
Yes, we were literally told to do that. Yes. Oh, God, it's gruesome. I'm going to find a bag.
Okay. There are bags. There are sacks in this bandit hideout.
We keep her head in a bag. And maybe keep it out. Well, I don't want to keep it too far away from us because a wild animal might try to eat it. So I guess we just got to sleep with a head. That's life sometimes.
Yep,
and all the other caravanners are like, yeah, that's life.
That's life.
That's life.
They recognize that you're bringing back a bounty. Yeah, I've heard that song, I think.
Yeah.
I know the one you're on
It's
about.
an old Frank Sinatra song.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm bringing back a bounty. I'm not just a creepy head guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will.
I am
he will
not a creepy head guy.
I swear, I'm not weird. Yes, Admand is going to. I think with that, it's probably getting later in the evening. We need to discuss. I think Huldra should be involved in this discussion. Admand is going to tell his own companions and Huldra the issue about getting this half-elf to her family in the Lurk Watch?
Lurk Watch. Yeah, Lurk Watch.
To Lurk Watch. And I ask if Huldra has any opinions on the best way to do this, because we have to get a lot of these people to Mirabar. We have to get this woman to Lurk Watch. Quite a few of us have taken some nicks and scratches. More than nicks and scratches. What does she think?
Haldra says, although it is not ideal, a kind thing to do would be to drop this refugee off at Kelemvor Point and allow the Lancers of Kelemvor to take it from there.
Do you think the Lancers would do that? Would they play ball?
I don't think they would prioritize it, but I do think that they would make sure she finds her way to Lurk Watch if she has business there.
I turn to the half-elf. I say, how do you feel about that?
She contemplates for a moment, and then she nods and says, I understand that any assistance in this situation would be a kindness. I would be grateful if you escorted me to this Kelemvor Point.
The Lancers seem like good folk. Don't look like an enemy of theirs, because they will kill you. But I think they have a good sense of who their enemy is. I think. Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out. But it's they seem like good folk. It seems like they have a control over that trail. So I think that now also to get to the area where Kundrakar is, do we have to go on that Lancer's trail anyway?
You don't have to.
But it's like it's on the way.
Yeah, you could use it to get over there for sure, but you could also just go through trackless forest or find a different trail that's not as well known.
I'll offer her a choice. I say we could either drop you off with the Lancers. The problem is I've got a lot of other injured people. I also have to make sure they get home. We could drop you off.
Kratz and Haldra nod.
We could drop you off with the Lancers, and I'm sure that they will get you there, but they might not rush you there that instant. The other option is you could stay with us. We're going to go back to Mirabar and have to rest for a week because of the downtime rules, or the resting rules. And after that, we will be heading back out that way. I doubt that the Lancers would be that slow that you wouldn't get there faster just waiting with them. But it's an option if you'd rather stick it with us, and we could eventually drop you off. But it would be a week or so from now. Actually, it'll probably be like 2 weeks because we have to go back to Mirabar.
If you're willing, I would trust you more than the Lancers, and perhaps there are things I can do in Mirabar in the meantime.
Really?
Mirabar is, after all, where I was going.
What's the deal with the Lancers? You don't trust them?
I don't distrust them, but you saved my life for no apparent reason. And the Lancers, how does she put this?
They're dicks.
There are stories on the roads of the Lancers being quite litigious in the defense of their trade routes and occasionally taking things a little too far.
All right, well, you can come with us then. We can take you to Mirbar. We'll rest there for a week, and then we'll be heading out soon after that. And we can take you all the way to the Lurkwood. To be honest, I sort of wanted to get my own lay of the land. We've heard a lot about these Lancers, and I wouldn't mind meeting some of them, so that way we'll have an excuse to go through anyway.
Okay. Do you guys settle down?
Wouldn't mind hearing more about this enemy of theirs that they're opposing. Sorry, what was that question?
Do you guys settle down for a short rest?
Yes, we will settle down for a short rest. I hope, given that we have shelter and some bedrolls in here, this is probably good enough for getting a short rest, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Could you roll me 2d12, though?
2d12.
Yeah.
What is your standard? Because I read in your rules that it's like you have to, and I think this is correct, but everyone might have different standards of what is comfortable enough to get a rest.
Yeah.
So what would you consider like the bare minimum?
I would say food, warmth, and there's one more in there. I think it is in my doc now.
Dryness?
Yeah, I think it actually is. Let me just double check. Because we've had a few back and forths of this over the years, and I think in my most recent doc I have a little blurb about short resting. In order to gain the benefits of a short rest, the character must have adequate amounts of food, water, and warmth. So yeah, I think that's reasonable. If it's some level of either bedroll, blanketing, or fire, you can't you have to have I think it's 2 pounds of food a day to.
And if it's raining, you'd have to have something over your head.
Some shelter, yeah.
Yeah. And you can't sleep in like a marsh. At least not in the wall, not in the bog.
Yeah, not unless you have some ways of keeping dry somehow. Yeah.
Cool. Well, this seems perfect then.
And then I think I right here that if these factors are present, that you can still maybe get a short rest, but I might call for some con saves or con checks and things like that.
What did you tell me to roll, by the way? What was that?
2d12, yeah. Oh, another 11. So can I get another d12?
What does this mean again?
These are encounter checks.
Fuck, this is not good. By the way,
encounters aren't bad.
Before I roll this, I want to clear up that we are going to watch. We are going to have watches. We're not just going to blindly sleep. Anyone that'd like to volunteer can, but if no one does, it'll just be the party. And I think we'll have someone just. We're not going to go out into the woods like the bandits did. I think we're just going to have someone sit by the river, looking out to make sure no one's coming in.
Okay, so where by the river are you talking about? By the kennel, on the bridge?
Ooh. The bridge seems like a good option. Okay. The bridge seems like a good option. Or maybe, well...
It's quite a large moon today, so there will be light at the cave entrance, even if you're sat up at the bridge.
Maybe here. Maybe this would be good. I like this.
All right.
Where Kratz is now. I like that. Oh, we would have also moved the dog bodies out.
Yeah. Actually, Kratz suggests eating them.
Oh. Yes, I will have Kratz lead that initiative of
all right.
Skinning, and we could probably get money for their pelts.
Yeah. Or you could just, Kratz could just make them into a cloak for somebody.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, Kratz. I'll just leave him in charge of that. It's probably something he does while he's, like, watching. Yeah. He's just...
He knows he's not able to quite finish it the way he'd like. He gets the preliminary job done, and then he's going to take it to a guy he knows in Mirabar to get it finished.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a skin guy.
So it's one guy at a time in order, like Kratz, and then Dorian, and then Admand, and then Istria. Okay, yep. Cool. And then could you give me that one more D12 for me?
And we'd likely, I would put Kratz and Admand at the darkest parts of the night. So the second and third shift, and I'd have the people without dark vision do first and fourth.
Yep, completely reasonable.
And then would you? Sorry, another D12? You said
Yes, please.
3.
3. Okay, that's fine then. That will not bother you tonight. So that one will pass. That one's not applicable to this situation. Okay, cool. So you get your short rest. You can get all your short rest resources back, spend your hit dice. Your companions do have hit dice. They're listed in the right next to their hit point formula. Or it is their hit point formula. It tells you how many hit dice and of what size each of your companions has. Remember, go on.
And do you have... I don't remember what the raw is for this, but I'll just ask what your rule... Do we have to choose how many hit dice we're rolling before we see the rolls? Like, you can't do the thing where you roll one, see like, I like that, I'll roll another, or
I am okay with you rolling one at a time and deciding when to stop. Yeah, that's fine. The two kind of caveats to that are my rule where you get one hit dice back. That only happens at the start of the short rest. So if you're full, you don't get any back. Because in my rules, you get one hit dice back on a short rest. But that happens at the start before you've spent any. So if you're full, you don't get that dice back.
At the start. Okay, I get you. Cool.
Sorry, at the start of... Not the start of the short rest, but the start of you spending hit dice. And then
it's just to make... So if you're out of hit dice, you at least get one for
and you can spend that one immediately. Yeah.
Cool.
But if you're full, you don't get any. And then Song of Rest and effects like that, you must commit to have finished spending hit dice before you get to roll that dice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any of those kinds of features.
I don't think so either.
But... Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it though. Yeah, you can choose to roll them one at a time.
Okay.
Are you comfortable figuring out a way to track hit dice on your companions, or would you like me to try and put it on their token? Or maybe could it go on a spreadsheet? Maybe.
We could put it in the spreadsheet. Yeah.
Cool.
Let me.
Oh, and I'll roll. For now, Haldra's not one of your companions, so I'll do her short rest for you.
So they have. So their hit dice are 3D whatever. They also have 3 hit dice.
They have varying numbers and sizes of hit dice. You might want to go look at their hit dice.
But it would say it under their hit point calculation, right? That's
next to their hit. Yeah, next to their hit points. Yeah. The reason why I have variant is some of my NPC classes start with 2 hit dice at level 1, not 1. So that's why there might be a bit different. In theory, they could have even more than 2, but so far that's not the case. Whoa, Haldra's rolling crazy on hers.
She's juiced.
She is juiced. Does she roll her last hit dice for 4 hit points? I think the answer is no. Yeah, everything blue on the campaign doc is new for this version. If you're curious why some stuff was in blue.
Good to know.
Helps keep track of stuff.
I was curious. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I thought you had lost your mind and you were just making everything blue.
Did you read the revised Barbarian? It's the first iteration of that.
I did. I skimmed through those. I thought they were interesting. I thought they were cool. What made you want to change them?
Well,
I think I know why you wanted to change Sorcerer, but why'd you want to change Barbarian?
So I like a slightly lower magic world. And so I find a lot of the subclasses in 5th edition, even on martial characters, to be quite whimsical and have sort of magical elements to them. So in part, I really liked some of the barbarian stuff, but I wanted to ground it a bit more and make it a little bit less magical. So I took elements from all of the barbarian classes I liked and condensed it into 3 subclasses that were not magical, and I felt had my favorite parts of all the other barbarian stuff. Also, it was part of a larger project because I was like, because in my bigger games, I only let one of the PCs be a full spellcaster. like a non-multi-class spellcaster. So that means obviously there aren't actually a lot of choices outside of that, right? You've got rogue, barbarian, fighter, and that's it. So I started a project to, one, make those three classes more interesting, and then two, also to create non-magical a non-magical version of the bard class to make it an option for players.
The Bardy Bard.
With,
You should also, I mean, at that point, you should just do a non-magical ranger rebuild.
I think so, but I think that's reasonable, but I do feel like the ranger class fantasy that people are looking for can be achieved through the existing fighter class.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe rogue. Or maybe a multi-class of those two.
Or maybe rogue ranger.
Yeah. And I've also allowed one level of ranger. I want to see if people play around with that at some point. Who is this?
Kratz.
God damn. Does Kratz have D10s?
Yeah, that's what
Nice.
he has. D10s.
What a gamer.
What a gamer.
I like
He's
that.
at half HP.
What the hell? I like how his class is Huntsman. I think that's a cool class name.
Yeah, that is a cool class name. Okay, so I've got their hit dice tracked, and everyone is done with that.
Excellent. I guess Ulrich would also get a short rest. I'm just gonna get him to full HP because I think that's reasonable for his 8 hit points.
I just realized I never used Admand's second wind. So that was
I remember because you had an opportunity to use that when you ran away from Bromara, but I forgot to mention.
I did. Yeah, I think I've just forgot that it was a thing.
Did you use? You didn't use Action Surge either, did you?
No, I probably should have that turn action surged, or maybe or second wind, and then the next turn action surge. We'll do it better next time. Dorian is going to also get. I believe he has Arcane Recovery, so
he has a version of it. Yeah, I think it is just Arcane Recovery, or I might have.
Spell slot of any level at the end of a short rest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I changed it so that it's any level, but also it's only ever one. It doesn't upgrade as he levels up.
Yeah. Cool. So he gets back a spell slot in case we need it. Everyone is good to go.
Excellent. Okay, cool. So what do you... let's get you onto the world map. What is so you're heading back. So 2 things to keep in mind. You can follow the river to go to the hex to the north.
Mm-hmm.
I think, can I get a perception check from Kratz specifically?
Terrible.
An 8. Okay, so
garbage.
You know that you can follow the river to the square to the hex to your north. Definitely.
That we will do.
Okay, cool. It's going to take you 6 miles. Oh, first of all, I guess we should set travel pace. Probably go through some of these exploration rules now. It's probably a good time to do it. So I gave you the watch actions travel document. Here is your travel pace document. And then I think I can, this is, you don't necessarily need this document, but if you're interested, here is how terrain and conditions affect your ability, your movement distance, your travel distance.
Oh, man. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what this means...
So you'll be traveling at the 20-foot speed, right? Because you're encumbered.
Oh, yes. Wait, do dwarves normally move at 25?
I believe they do.
Okay, good. Okay, 20. There we go. For a second, I thought dwarves were normally 20, and it was going to be 15 feet. Okay, so yes, 20 foot, because when he has his backpack, he is encumbered, at least for now, until we can get some sort of horse or something. And And so that is, yes, that would be 3 miles, or no, 2 miles at normal pace. It says at normal pace, you cannot use stealth checks, gains advantage on nav checks. Chance for encounters is doubled.
Mentioning at the stage that 2 miles would be halved because you're in trackless forest. So that would be 1 mile an hour.
Brutal. 1 mile an hour. Okay. And we are trackless forest. Where is that trackless forest? Here we go. And would this be sparse, medium, or dense? So I guess it doesn't matter.
It's not relevant for survival pace. There's another section of this table that I've cut off for your purposes, which has forage DCs and track DCs on them. So that's where that comes into play. So it doesn't really matter. Although for the record, this would probably be a medium density forest.
Well, in that case, yeah, okay, 1 mile an hour. And how big are the hexes again?
The hexes are 12, and like I said, we're going to abstract it a little bit. So starting in a hex, it'll take you 6 miles to get to the next hex.
Because we're assuming we're at the center of a hex.
Yeah, rough, abstracted hex, abstracted center, yeah. But
so
then
in that case,
going forward, we'll track progress. So, for example, on this day, since you've got 8 hours, you would go 8 miles. So next day you'd start 2 miles into the next hex. So it'd take you 10 more miles to get out to the next hex.
Okay, that's what we do.
All right, cool. Watch actions. Do you want to do we want to leave that for now, or do you want to take a look through and declare some?
Oh, watch actions. Yes, and this is at night, or is it while we're traveling?
Depends on the action. Yeah. So there are. I guess to explain quickly about like active travel and rest, you've got 6 watches in a day. Presumably, they're each 4 hours long. Presumably, 2 of them you're traveling. 2 of them you're active, so you're doing things, but you're not moving. And then 2 of them you're resting. But you can travel more than 3 watches if you force march.
Sighting. Find an outlook. What does that mean?
Find like a vantage point or some high ground to get a look at nearby hexes.
Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting.
But that's an active watch, so that means you need to be standing still to do that. You can't be on the move. So you'd take like 4 hours. Some people would maybe go rest or forage, and then somebody would go sighting. Or maybe multiple. Oh, the whole expedition can go sighting if you want.
Navigation requires what kind of skill?
Navigation is
navigator's
survival.
Tools proficiency. Oh, okay.
Survival. Although, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're right. It should be navigating. No, kidding.
Maybe someone with navigator's tools could get an even better check on it, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
But survival, that would only be Kratz. So and we don't have a. Do we have a map?
I don't think you have a map on you.
Yeah. Okay, we should really get one.
They're expensive, to be fair.
Well, Dagnall will lend us one. He's a good guy.
He could, yeah.
He's a good guy. Just don't miss a meeting.
No.
That's all he asks. Is it too much? Don't miss a meeting, even when you are sick, or have been violently assaulted, dead, or are in prison. Just don't miss a meeting. Don't miss a meeting. Oh, a pack puller. That's fun.
Yep. That'll be relevant for you.
Very relevant. Okay, and then animal handling. Oh shit, we got to get someone with animal handling.
If you want them to pack pull, yeah.
Well, yeah, we got to get a pack puller. Resting. Okay, I'm good at that. Scouting.
Yes, you'll see there that this is an active or travel action. So if the rest of the expedition is stationary, not traveling, then anybody can go out and do this as an active action. But if you're traveling, then scouts can only scout if they are faster than the expedition. Which, luckily for you, the likes of Istria is usually going to be faster than your expedition, because even when you're not encumbered, you're still slower than Istria.
Kratz also should be fast.
Yep. Although I would assume, you can definitely use Kratz as a scout, although he is probably going to stay with the group navigating, right? I would assume in most circumstances.
Oh yeah. So if you don't, so navigating is just literally if you don't have that, you can't move. Is that just crucial?
That's a good question, because that does sound a little silly.
Well, I didn't mean to make it sound silly.
No, but it does sound silly to me.
I want to know how important it is.
Yeah. I tell you what, this is what I'm going to do for now. If you don't make a navigation check, there is a flat 50-50 chance you just get lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Sentinel. Detect threats or notice anything out of the ordinary. I like that. Trailblazer. Oh, that's so cool. That's actually pretty cool. That could be useful in the future, for when if we need to like I imagine there might be cases. I don't know if this will be the case with Kundrakar, but with Mithril Hall, we're probably going to have to make the multiple trips back to Mirabar and then back and forth and back. And there might be cases where we might want to make a little shortcut with Trailblazer to make those future trips quicker. I kind of like that. Yeah. That's cool.
Also, it's not there in this version, but in my full list, I've got options for you to hide those trails, make them hidden trails.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I like that. I like these rules. These are fun. Okay, so and then how does having a watch at night, how does that fit into these rules? Is that just assumed you're doing that? That doesn't have to be a thing.
that person will be taking an active watch, whereas everyone else is taking the rest watch.
And a watch is how long again?
4 hours. So you'd only need to set up 2.
But how would that person get asleep?
You'd have to do your rest over 3 watches, right? So in that 3 watches, everyone is resting for 2 and guarding for 1.
Oh, okay. And then 4, 6. So 12. It would take 12 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not too bad.
Or you could have no watches.
Yeah. I've done that before.
Yeah.
The last time I did that, we got attacked by, is in another game, we got attacked by cloakers, which are like these flying manta ray demon things, and they almost slaughtered all of us. Anyway, so they're not demons. I use demon to basically mean anything. Right? Yeah. But then
in older editions, most aberrations were demons. Like a beholder was originally connected to demons.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
This also probably got them in trouble during the days of
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
They're like, hey, it's not a game just about demons, okay? There's dragons, there's orcs. And they're like, I looked through the monster manual. 50% of the monsters are demons.
Look, it's fine. We all do rituals to cast magic in order to, defeat.
Oh man, if those people, I mean, to be fair, the Satanic Panic is kind of coming back in some areas now, but if some of those people from that time period saw some of like the hardcore LARPing games, they would lose their fucking mind, right? Where people are like dressing up and they're like fully doing the thing.
Tiefling cosplay.
I've done Call of Cthulhu games where we darken the room and we light candles, and that would fucking terrify these people because that's like, anyway,
actually conversing with the other world.
Yeah. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna have my boy Kratz on the Navi computer.
Yep.
And then the problem with Scout is, does it require a skill, or does it just work?
I would probably throw a perception check on that, I think.
Boom. All right, then yes, Istria would be perfect for that. So I think we'll have Kratz navigate. We'll have Istria scout. And I think I'm going to have her do the Pathfinder to get us. That should get us a little more quick, right? It'll
Yep.
upgrade us.
It'll
to
double.
Trail, double our speed. Huge. And I think I will have. I'm gonna see who else has good perception. Admand has decent perception. Dorian has no perception. So I will have Admand make the
Sentinel. I think Haldra will also take the Sentinel watch action unless you have a.
As you can have multiple people do that. It's fine. Because I mean, that's actually all really we need to do. The only other one that we would want to do is Forager, but the only other person that has survival is Kratz. I mean, we could have someone just make an untrained check, but that would be. And we don't know what the DC of the train is.
No.
Secret.
It's secret.
Probably high though. Well, it's a forest.
It's a medium density forest. Yeah.
That might be the perfect density for foraging, right? So lots of little delicious things around. I think it's funny, so I'll have Dorian forage.
Okay. Cool. So in watch 1 of today, we've got Kratz navigating. We've got Istria, you're going to say it's pathfinding, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just going to put some of this stuff down. Might be useful in the future. Istria. We've got Dorian, Admand, and Haldra. So Kratz is navigating. Istria's pathfinding. Dorian
Admand is Sentinel.
Foraging.
Yeah,
Admand and Haldra are both Sentinel. Cool. So let's start with the Kratz navigation check. Actually, no. This first watch, don't worry about the navigation check. This first watch, you're still following the river. Actually, no. Yeah, this first watch is definitely following the river because you are actually still in this tile hex in the first watch. Because it's going to take you 6 miles to get out of here. So, following the river is not going to... Actually, yeah, it's not even going to require a navigation check from Kratz. He's going to navigate. He's going to do that watch action, but he doesn't need a check. He's just going to succeed. Because it's pretty easy for him with
his action is just looking at the river.
Well, it's making sure he's still finding the right ways to follow it because you can't just sit next to it. This is rocky, hilly. This is a hilly river. This is a very sharp bank with some steep drops, and the river bends and drops. And
we lose half of the caravaneers on the way.
It is a tricky river to follow, but with proficiency, Kratz is going to be able to do it as you move through this rocky terrain. Istria, meanwhile, is going to forge off on her own, and I need a perception check from her to see if she can pick up some trails. This first watch, you're traveling 4 miles. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Perception.
10 is not going to do it. So she returns at the end of the first watch. Roll me a d12, actually. I also need to remind myself whether the scout also needs a encounter check. Because for some of the watch actions, they have a separate encounter check. Yes, an additional encounter check is made for each scouting group. So another d12 for me, and this one's for Istria. I think a 10 is not an encounter, but I'm just going to double check. Yep, a 10 is good, and a 2 is also good. So no encounters. You all meet back up 4 hours later. on the edge of the river. Istria is unable to find any pathways. And yeah, would you like to continue with the same instructions and direction?
Indeed, we would.
Excellent. Is Istria going to go out again and try and pathfind?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's a good use of the time, just in case we can get a speedier.
I also forgot Dorian's foraging check.
Yeah,
so
let me roll.
Dorian can do that as a survival check.
Crushed it.
Yeah, no, he does.
I was back with barrels of berries.
So much shit. Great. So Dorian this time actually. Never mind. I was about to say finds a source of fresh water, but that's not actually something he would be looking for because you are able occasionally to dip down into the river and refill. So he finds the food instead. So he finds one ration of food, 1 2-pound ration.
Dope.
And like you say, that is berries.
Nom.
Excellent. Okay, perception check from Istria for this next watch. Oh, nails it. Okay, so as you guys meet back up at the end of the traveling day at this point, because this is the second watch, you're 2 miles into this hex when Istria says, Istria's going to say there are 2 trails she's found. One leads directly, she thinks is going to lead directly out of the forest. The other actually seems to be heading back towards Bromara's lair, but also heads up north. But she has found them.
And the other one goes in this direction.
Yeah, I'm going to draw it on the map crudely. There you go. You see those 2 little trails? Cool. You feel free to...
I think we would take the left one.
Yeah. Do you want to name these trails?
Sure.
I guess just name the one that leads out of the forest since you're not going to take the other one.
Are we naming this in character or out of character?
In character this time. This is what you're going to call it for now.
We'll call it the trail to Bromara's demise, or Bromara's demise, for sure.
Bromara's demise. Okay, cool. Yeah, you should be able to write on the map, I think, right? And there should be text tool. Let me know if you can't, but it's all yours. Okay, is there anything you'd like to... So how would you like to... So you've got 4 watches from now until you can travel again. So how do you want to structure this rest?
How do I want to structure the rest? You said we have 4... Well, sorry, say it again. We have what? 4
You
hours?
have 4 watches, so that's... each of them, those are 4 hours, so it's 16 hours.
We will...
Or you could say that... You could also just say that you had 1 watch before you left this morning. So you have 3 here. It's up to you. Did you how quickly did you set off this morning? Did you take a
probably
couple
first
hours?
Thing. Okay. I think we probably left first thing.
So
it's fine. So 4 watches, and we have to do some sleeping. So we'll the first watch we will have people whittle. We'll have people do goofy stuff. We'll have.
So it's about 4 o'clock when you fit. If my rough structuring of watches, which I'll send to you on Discord real quick, is right, you would have traveled from 8 till 4, and now you've got at that time those last 4 watches to do stuff.
I think I'll have I will have Istria do the scout active to try to report and get advantage on our next navigation checks. And then I will have we don't need to track anyone. I will have Admand sight, and I will have both I'll have both Kratz and Dorian forage.
Okay. So Istria is reporting. Kratz is foraging. Dorian's foraging. And then Admand's trying to get some sight. Okay. This is rocky terrain. Quite hilly. So I like the idea that Admand's trying to climb up to a little outlook. So why don't you give me an athletics check? Great.
Beefy.
Yeah. So from here, you can probably see up on the hills, up in the crags.
Demons.
A keep. A stone keep.
What? Also...
Yeah.
Okay, we disappeared for a second. That was strange.
Well, if you look down to the bottom left, I was giving you sight.
Oh! Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Xantharl, you say?
You wouldn't know the name. It's not going to be.
We saw the
out
name.
But
it's like Las Vegas. Hollywood.
You know that region over there is called the Crags, a bunch of very, very rocky hills leading up to the foothills of Mount Hotanau. And there is a large stone keep atop one of the hills that you can see. You also see a number of villages dotted across the plains here. You can obviously see the roads.
I would... Ulrich seems to be very knowledgeable. Admand will ask Ulrich if he knows what the keep is. He'll sort of say, I saw a keep over there by the crags. There was a number of villages to the southwest, and there was a keep, a stone keep. Do you know anything about it?
That is Xanthal's keep, he says. It is where the Stone Warden of Greenholt lives. I believe the current Stone Warden is Sten Windrider. Windrider, yeah. And Sten in this case is an honorific, like, lord.
Stone Warden of what?
Greenholt.
And that's where we are now.
Yep, you're in Greenholt.
So now we know where to turn in all of our magic items.
I think I can actually add this Mirabar region map as a handout. Let's see. Oh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
I can, but I need a second. I need to find it rather than... I can't drag it from my notes, unfortunately.
Forcefully screaming.
Forcefully screaming. There you go. Here are the regions of Mirabar as discussed a few weeks ago. Each of these are cantons, which are ruled by a stone warden, a sort of magistrate, who is appointed by the Marcon, but the council have to approve their appointment.
Yes. Well, obviously. And we are in Greenholt. Oh, and Xantharl's Keep is on the map.
Yeah.
Huge. This is like a real thing. You didn't make this up.
Well...
You probably made up most of the lore surrounding.
But it's in Storm King's Thunder. Yeah, it's in Storm King's Thunder.
You can go there.
You see that mountain? You can climb that.
All right. So Xantharl's Keep.
Also, do you notice how Blackford and Ravenholm both have very similar colors? There are slightly different shades of black. But trust me when I say that has caused many a confusion over the years.
I'm sure.
And those two hate each other now.
Yeah, rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
The black and the slightly more black.
The Ravenholm were demanded that they change their house colors 20 years ago, and have never forgiven the Marcon for that request.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Ironwood is also pretty. It's pretty dark. It's just.
Yeah, but at least that's not right next to the other two.
It is funny though. Oh my god. And then okay. Cool.
The Ravenholms and the Blackfurs argue as to who was first.
Yes. Valamir just seems like they just get along. You know, like they're just good folks.
Well, there are rumors about the Stone Warden of Valemir.
Oh, Valemir.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Well, I mean,
what's she doing?
Valemir is like they're the one canton that actually has crops as their major export, you know. So that's.
But it's the rumor is that it's human meat that they're actually harvesting. All right, cool. I will take your laugh as a confirmation. Okay, so what are the other checks I need to make?
We need foraging checks for 2 people, Dorian and Kratz. That's a success. He gets 2 rations. Because he succeeded by that much. Kratz, on the other hand, finds nothing.
Sorry, it should have been survival, right?
Yeah.
It would be 6 instead of 4.
Dorian has so many berries, while Kratz chases a hare around for 3 hours. Eventually, Admand goes and checks on Kratz. It's like, he's like, shh! I've almost got him.
Dorian's like, I'm better at fighting people than Admand. I'm better at foraging than Kratz. He's like, Dorian just thinks he's better at everything than everyone now. He's like, I'm just the best.
I'm the best.
I'm the best.
All right, perception check from Istria as well.
Oh,
she's not having a great time. And then I need encounter rolls for the main group first, and then Istria after, which are D12s. Le D12. No encounters. Cool. So Istria returns to the group. Actually, do you have a return, or do you have to just stay out there for the next watch as well?
I will have her return because we have to start sleeping at some point.
Yeah. So it's 8 o'clock at this point.
I'm gonna have 2 of us. No, I'm gonna have Istria stay up and watch, and I'm gonna have Dorian, Admand, and Kratz go to sleep.
Okay, Haldra will Sentinel 2 then here. I think that makes sense. Okay, cool. Encounter check for me, D12. Great, no encounter. So that passes. On to watch 5.
Okay, I'm gonna have Istria go to bed, and I'm gonna have Kratz and Admand watch, and Dorian keep sleeping.
Cool. Haldra also goes to bed. Encounter check for me. Kratz and Admand are both up on this watch, right, you said?
Yes.
Cool. It looks like it's conspiring that Dorian will be the only one who can watch next watch. That's. Oh, go on.
Is that the case? Can I not have Admand or Kratz stay up with him once and then go back to bed?
They could, but then you'd be taking another watch. It wouldn't be 3; it'd be 4.
Oh, and after that we'd be able to get moving again. Dorian will be fine.
Okay. So wait, so do you wanna extend the rest, or are you gonna leave Dorian on his own for this watch?
Well, instead, actually, I'll have Admand watch on his own, and I'll have Dorian and Kratz watch the last one.
Okay, so Kratz was resting in watch 5.
Kratz is resting in.
So Kratz is up and Dorian's up for watch 6. Admand back to bed.
Encounter?
Yes, please.
Oh.
Ooh.
That seems like something.
That is an encounter. Let me see which category it's in. Lurkwood. Ooh, okay. That's interesting. This encounter might not end up happening, because this category is usually for when you're traveling. But let's see. Roll me a d12. 8. Ooh, okay. Let me just check this one out. Okay. Who's up for this one? It's Dorian and Kratz. Kratz,
Yeah.
roll me a perception check.
$12.
About just as the sun begins to come up, Kratz hears in the distance this strange sound of like rhythmic drumming, like it sounds like drums, but there's something strange about it.
Sounds like drums. Does it sound like it's getting closer?
It waits maybe about 5 minutes. It doesn't.
And Kratz is there with Dorian, right?
Yeah.
Kratz will point the noise out to Dorian and say, like, Dorian, do you hear that?
Dorian listens very carefully and does also hear it.
Could either of them make like a knowledge check of some sort to see if they know what this could be, like nature or?
Yeah. Why don't you have whoever is the best at nature make a nature check?
Nature's wisdom as well, right?
I think it's intelligence, actually.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, Dorian's still the best at that. If it's intelligence, it would be a 16.
Okay. In that case, yes, Dorian listens very closely, maybe even for 10 whole minutes to try and get a beat on it, and then says, I've read some books about the Lurkwood, and I remember reading that there are some unusually large woodpeckers found in this forest.
Weird. Are they dangerous?
I think they can be territorial, but as long as you keep your distance, they don't tend to attack travelers.
Very cool. And very disturbing. Good. In that case, Kratz and Dorian will leave the woodpecker alone and hope that it doesn't come over here.
Okay, cool. Then the rest of the watch will pass without incident.
Okay. In the morning...
In the morning, I think, it takes a little while to pack up and maybe eat. I think everyone will hear this noise because it's still going on.
Very cool. And I think Dorian would tell everyone that it's a woodpecker. And I think after we're all packed up, breakfast, we are going to get out on the trail, on the road again. Did Istria succeed? I forget at
No,
pathfinding.
I think she wrote. Oh, the pathfinding, yes, but the reporting, no.
The reporting, I mean. Yes. Okay. No. Didn't succeed at the reporting. Okay. And so now that the path has been found, we can use it. That's how that works. Like, you're finding the path for your next travel, not necessarily the current one. Okay. In that case, I would have Kratz navigate. I would have Istria report. I would have Admand on Sentinel, and I would have Dorian on Forage.
Okay, great. Excellent. Now, this path is going to require a navigation check to continue to follow. So let's have Kratz make that survival check to start us off for Watch 1.
Fuck.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So, you...
And if he fails, do I still get that 50-50 shot of getting lost?
Yeah.
Like, in other words, if he fails, is there a 50% chance that it still works out? I don't know.
Well, it depends on where you might be heading in the right direction, but you're certainly not on the trail, because that is definitely something he has lost. Yeah, you are still on the trail. You are heading in the right direction. Not that you'd know that without a compass, but you are still heading in the right direction. The first hour of today, you traveling on the road. So you make 2 miles of progress in the first hour of the watch, and it's only at that point that you get off of the trail. But Kratz still thinks he knows where he's headed, so you still make another 3 miles of progress. So 5 total. 7 in this, because you did 2 yesterday, so you've made 7 progress in this hex. You're going to need another 5 to get out of the hex. Why don't we get a perception check from Istria, who is reporting. And then when you're ready, Dorian foraging check, and then a D12 for encounter. Dorian gets another ration.
And Istria crushed that perception.
Yeah. Oh, that's an encounter. And it's a new category.
What? One's an encounter as well?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So another D12 for me. 9. Okay.
I'm waiting for it to get into an infinite loop. Like, you're like, oh, that's another D12? That will be another D12.
Well, there is going to be another dice, but it's not a D12.
Shit. It's the number of bees.
This is actually another D12.
Infinite loop.
Okay, there was a chance of rolling more D12s, but you finally hit the cap. I do need a D6 though. Excellent.
And that'll be a D12.
Okay. So
what
you
do all these rolls mean? I have no idea.
Admand can make a perception check as well because he's sentineling.
Would Haldra also be?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad. Do you want to roll one for Haldra?
Yeah,
I think
guess
you
I
still have
her
access to sheets. Yeah.
Was Haldra able to get her equipment back, her weapon and stuff?
Yep, she's got her equipment back. Great. So you both, there's a little clearing, not in the direction you're heading, a little bit off of the track. There is a little clearing that you both notice. And you both notice that in that clearing, grazing, are 3 ponies. They're brown. They have a brown coat with some white spots and markings on them.
Ponies, you say?
Yep. This part of the forest you've been traveling through is a little more sparse than some of the deeper parts.
What do I know about pony law, horse law, equestrian law? If a man finds a pony, is it his to keep?
I think technically, it belongs to the Stone Warden.
This is ridiculous. What does my body belong to the Stone Warden if it's found here?
There are ancient laws about, noble families being able to take and hunt wild game in other people's land.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and the peasants, it would be stealing from the noble to hunt on his land. Right?
In practice, the Lurkwood is considered wild lands. Many people hunt in these woods for food.
For ponies, wild ponies, they hunt them.
Yeah, in practice, it would be rare for a Stone Warden to seek justice for a theft of a wild pony. But if
there was a case 70 years ago.
If you come across if when you leave this forest, the Stone Warden and his or her retinue just so happen to be passing by, you may find yourself in an awkward situation.
They're passing by as we're stealing the ponies, and we're shouting out, "I love stealing ponies." I know this land technically belongs to the Stone Warden.
Breaking a horse is not an easy task, and I do not believe anybody in your party has animal handling proficiency. Now, if you speak to Kratz, he could tell you that these horses might be useful for their hide and their meat and their hooves.
That's an enormous amount of weight to carry, though. I mean,
yeah, you wouldn't kill all three of them. You'd hunt one of them. But I don't know if
so is it? You say breaking, but like there's breaking and then there's just leading.
Yeah,
just kind of. It's just kind of lead the ponies with us.
Certainly not impossible to
ponies, come.
lasso the horse and pull it with you. But I think without animal handling, I just
realized we have not talked about what we're doing with the prisoners. We never addressed.
Yeah, I assume you were dragging them along with you. Is that reasonable?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
How have they been?
Quiet. Have you been feeding them?
Yeah.
Then they're not.
Just enough to keep them alive, though. I don't want them to be strong.
Yeah. That's reasonable. I think you should be made aware that if you tried to lead these horses without animal handling, I think that they're going to give you trouble. And if you can deal with that trouble all the way back to Mirabar, then perhaps. But they will not be easy to wrangle, especially with a couple of days left on the journey.
We gotta get an animal wrangler.
Kratz knows some. Probably.
Kratz, you know an animal guy?
I know some. I know some wranglers.
Okay. Dorian
husbands.
Dorian will try to break a horse, though. I think. No, okay. I'm just kidding. Do I have any idea of how difficult it is? Like, it's difficult.
To break a horse?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that without proficiency...
Jump on one and make it love you.
I'm going to say that without proficiency, it's beyond the realms of your capabilities. I think that's reasonable to
so it's a trained kind of thing.
Yeah, you suggested just like lassoing them and dragging them places. That's possible, but they're going to be non-cooperative.
Ornery. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to get a horse wrangler. I will allow Kratz to hunt one and turn it into glue and such, if he wishes to.
If you want to, I will allow you to do that as an active watch action if you stop traveling. Like that, we'll stop that watch. We'll say you've made your 7 miles, and now it's time for watch 2, and you can either continue traveling or take this watch to let Kratz hunt that pony.
But we could still then travel the next watch if we took this watch to hunt, right?
Yeah. The third watch 3, yeah.
Because we can get 2 in a day. It does, and if they're broken up, that's fine. Okay,
that's fine.
So we'll do that. We'll stop and let Kratz hunt a pony.
Excellent. So Istria comes back. She's reported so Kratz, we're going to say, is foraging. What's Istria going to do for this watch 2 then?
She succeeded at her report, so that's good. I think, are we still on the trail, or have we lost that?
You've been off the trail for 3 hours. However, Istria has a rough idea of how to get back on it if Kratz can succeed on his next survival check.
Okay. And then, in that case, I'll have Istria find an overlook.
Yep, sighting.
Sighting. I'll have Admand.
To keep an eye out for the Stone Warden.
Admand will keep an eye out for the Stone Warden. And I think, well, hey, Dorian's been handy in the wild so far. I think, is it possible to just have him like help, just to kind of be there?
I think because Dorian's untrained, I don't know if I'm going to allow him to help mechanically, but thematically we can say he's there.
Just I mean, I kind of like the idea of Kratz showing him how it's done, and then maybe like, even though it would be hard to help him with the actual hunting, he might also be able to help him with the butchering and like the getting all the good parts out. So yeah, we'll do that.
Let's have Kratz make the foraging check. I'm going to lower the DC because he's already found his quarry. It's just about killing it.
Survival?
Yes, please. Oh.
Kratz is just doing fucking awful. He's so bad.
So a couple of hours pass, and eventually Kratz returns to camp. Dorian looking downtrodden. He
Covered in horse blood.
no horse blood because he doesn't. He doesn't find them.
He just lost
it.
They were right there.
It's fine, boss. We didn't need that horse meat anyway.
But you got me in the.
Dorian's still got all those berries.
Damn it, Kratz! You got me in the mood for that tender pony meat. You told me how tender they were. You kept going on and on about how you've never lived until you've tried fried pony.
Look, I'm not a forest hunter, okay? Take me to the foothills.
Oh, when we get to the foothills, you better hunt something, Kratz. I'm starting to wonder about your whole career.
Hey,
right.
I found your thieving bandit, didn't I?
You did. And Istri's like, yeah, I mean, like, barely.
Kratz shoots her a look like, shh.
Okay.
Watch 3, you're traveling, so I assume Kratz is on Nav. Is Istria reporting again?
Report.
Dorian foraging?
As we call it, doraging.
And then
Dorian
Sentinel
forage.
for Haldra. Roll me a perception check quickly on Istria to see how her sighting went last watch.
Istri's so competent.
It's quite strong. Roll me a d12. Okay, she doesn't. She gets a good view over everything, but she doesn't see anything new. But she does. She kind of puts in her mind like, okay, she sees where the trail exits the forest, the one she's already found, and she sees how it connects up to the main roads and stuff, and she has a pretty decent idea about where you're going. Navigation check from Kratz at advantage because of the reports. This is not an easy check though.
He needs that advantage, dude. He's so bad.
He's gonna nail it.
He hasn't rolled higher than a 4 in days.
He's tired. He's hurt. He smells like shit. He works with children.
He works with children?
There's a meme. CM Punk, who you may remember, recently came back to wrestling in a different company, and then at the end he was very annoyed, and he gave an interview where he's like, "I'm tired. My back hurts. I work with children."
That's funny. Survival for Kratz. Here we go. Oh my! He's so bad.
He's so bad. So you go forest. So you don't quite make it out of the forest yet. You're 1 mile away from the edge of the forest. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Dorian's survival for his foraging.
I'm starting to think Dorian should be navigating it. Dorian's not failed once.
Now you've jinxed it.
There we go.
He gets another ration. Okay, and we need a perception check from Istria because she's still reporting on this watch.
Oh, sorry, that would have been a 5, but it's really low.
Yeah. Okay, so you've now got 3 watches to get your rest in.
Yeah, and I think we'll do. I think just so that we're not spending too much time. I think it's fair to say lock in that, and then we'll change it if there's a reason to.
Just remind me, it was Istria, and it was Istria first, right?
Istria first, and you said Haldra helped, so I'm fine with that being again. Istria and Haldra, then it was
Admand and Dorian.
Admand on his own, and then it was Dorian and Kratz.
That works.
Would we have been able to, by the way, for the purposes, in case we do run into something, would we have gotten more short rests in?
You would have had one that we forgot, and I'm going to let that one go, but you're about to get another one if this goes through.
Okay.
Cool. Why don't you roll me 2d12? 3d12, actually. Okay, that 11 is a potential encounter, so one more d12 for me. But it does depend on whether or not it's applicable.
I'm just imagining you're looking at 30 charts. I don't know what you're looking at.
I have a lot of charts, I'm not gonna lie. There are a lot of charts here. Basically, I've got one encounter table where there's 3 results on that result in an encounter, but each of those is a different type of encounter. So then I go to another chart and look at what type of encounter it is.
And then that one goes to the.
Well, if it's like a wandering encounter, then yes, I have to go to like what monster it is. But this one isn't a wandering encounter necessarily.
And is the idea with that? I mean, pulling. You don't have to say, but pulling the curtain back a little bit. I'm guessing the idea with that hummingbird is like, or sorry, the woodpecker.
Woodpecker.
Is that if we found it while walking, it's like we've moved into its territory and we have to do something. Whereas because it was during night, we weren't moving, so it's. Is that kind of the idea?
There are encounters like that. I'm not going to give you the exact details on the woodpecker. You'd have to go and inspect it to find out. But there are encounters that definitely.
Kratz is like, let's turn back. I can get its meat.
The results on this chart definitely have to be contextualized. I do some contextualization. Yeah. So for example, in this example, for example here, we are on Istria and Haldra's watch. When down towards the trail, it's very funny because Istria knows exactly where the trail is, but still somehow Kratz cannot find it. Down
it's right there.
Actually, I need perception checks from Haldra and Istria here before I proceed. Oh wow, Jesus. Jesus.
Haldra's asleep.
Istria hears down by the trail in the far distance, like quite a while away, maybe even half a mile, this barking. Echoing through the trees.
Spooky. She'll let Haldra know. Get Haldra's attention on it.
Haldra hears it once it's pointed out to her.
Does it sound just like a normal dog, or like a wolf, or like a demon dog?
Istria can roll me nature.
You said nature's intelligence?
Yeah, I think so.
Unstoppable.
It's a bark. It could be a wolf. It could be a dog. Istria doesn't know the difference that well. Not from the bark, anyway.
Well, I'm not going to mess around with it. We will... I think Istria's just going to see if it gets closer. And if it starts getting closer, she'll wake up the rest of the camp. Or at least wake up her allies.
After about an hour, the barking has stopped and does not return.
Weird. All right. That's all then.
Cool. Alrighty then. Cool. So, the rest of the night passes uneventfully, so everybody can get a short rest if you'd like them to.
You betcha. Especially if we're gonna run into demon dogs.
Yes.
Could be important.
The dogs of the demons.
I am going to have Admand roll his. He's going to get a free die back that he can immediately roll. So I'm going to do that. You. So Admand's almost full. That's good. I believe the main one that didn't. Now the only problem with the helper, the other NPCs is that it doesn't actually. I don't think there's any way to track their current HP on their character sheet. I have to use.
It has to be their token, yeah. So what? You're on the hex map right now.
On the hex map.
Yeah, that's a bit awkward.
But I think Kratz is the only one that really has some nasty dings left. So
I don't think it would be disastrous to get them out here on the hex map for you. Here, I'll just put Kratz there. Oh, no, that is disastrous because he has vision. But that's okay. But, yeah, I'll leave him there for now. Let me know when you're done with him, and then I will delete his token again. Okay, that's good to know. We can't use the hex map for this. I did have a little landing page for you for the Forest Ranger campaign, but I didn't have a very strong idea to make one for this one. Because on the Forest Ranger campaign, you had like a to-do list, and I was going to make you map the forest in the Forest Ranger campaign. So I had like a map for you to draw on, but I didn't think that was super useful for this. But I might make a landing page just so you can mess around with your companions' HP, and I think the to-do list is helpful, so that one can go on there.
22. Okay, so Kratz is looking pretty good. I think everyone else is mostly fine, and I think that. And then if you don't use that free one, it gets added to your.
Yeah, you just get it back. It's not necessarily a free one. You just gain one back at the start. Yeah. So if you
sounds good.
Yeah, you hit dice are a resource that you can constantly recover as long as you're not needing them. All right. So today's a new day. Let me delete all. I'll keep the rest stuff on my sheet here because you're saying you're going to keep that the same. You're heading off first thing in the morning. You're not doing. Oh, actually, first things first. Istria will tell the group about what she heard last night. I'll leave this decision to you. Does Istria think it's best to avoid the trail?
Oh, we didn't need to make any other encounter rolls?
You rolled all 3 watches encounter rolls at the start.
I did.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry, say that again. Say that about again, Istria.
Does Istria think it's wise to avoid that part of the trail for a little bit? Or does she think it's still best to get on the trail ASAP?
I think we should try to get back on the trail. I mean, she'll let everyone know that there's some sort of dog or demon dog out there.
Is she gonna still head off in front of the party, or is she gonna stay with the party?
We're gonna stay together for the next 4 or so hours, just until we get out of this area.
Cool. Why don't we have? So Kratz on Nav. Is Istria on Sentinel?
Yes, I'll have Istria and Admand on Sentinel.
And then Dorian on Forging.
Yeah, because he can't miss.
He can't miss. Let's start with the Nav then. Kratz, I don't think Istria did. Did Istria succeed on her last reporting check yesterday?
I think she did.
No, I think that's the 3.
Oh, was that the 3?
I think it was the 3.
Oh man.
So regular survival check here from Kratz. Surely he's getting back on that horse.
Should I just have Dorian do this?
You're welcome to, although it will affect your relationship with Kratz.
I have to soothe this asshole's ego. So bad. All right, here we go. Oh, fuck. I actually roll with advantage. God damn it, crap. Well, we take the 12. Oh.
Okay. Well, 12 is enough to at least follow the trail for a little bit. So he gets back on the trail. You get on it and you see, I think pretty obviously, I don't think we need perception checks for this, the result of last night, because you see a very, very small, actually no, it probably wouldn't even be a caravan. You see a well-dressed man and a bodyguard in leather armor, both dead on the roadside, with blood covering their bodies.
That wasn't just a regular dog. That was a demon dog. Ooh, maybe we should have intervened. Well, it's a lesson. A lesson that we saved our lives. I mean, that's the thing. Should we have intervened? I don't know. We avoided a fight. Then again, do we want to avoid fights? We could XP farm. I don't know. I will. I will have Admand check their bodies. Loot the bodies.
There's 5 gold pieces on the well-dressed man. Otherwise, he's wearing nice clothes that you could take off and sell. I don't know if that's within the realms of discovery. The other guy's wearing leather armor and has a short sword. The rich man had a dagger. Other than the gold, that's about it. He clearly was a merchant, but he didn't have any goods. He had the money, having sold the goods.
I'll have Dorian take that other dagger.
Okay, yeah.
Now he has 2 daggers, and now no one can stop him. 5 gold. That's not bad.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Although I'm thinking there's a lot of money in that lockbox. It sounds like. Holy crap! Thousands of copper.
All right. So you 1 mile. You're out of the forest.
Oh shit!
Everything okay?
I just exited out of the server. I'll be back in a second.
No worries.
I was trying to close another tab and then it glitched and I accidentally clicked close on this. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, I'm just checking planes here because that's what you're on now. I imagine it's just full speed, right? Full speed ahead on the old planes.
Yeah.
Actually, no. It's 75% speed on trackless planes.
Yeah.
Which you are unfortunately on because Kratz has lost the trail. Although I think we're going to say halfway through today, halfway through this watch, Kratz will lose a trail. So you'll have 2 hours on the trail. The first half an hour is enough to get out of the woods. Then you spend another half an hour traveling at full pace. So you go another 1 mile into this next hex. 1 mile into this hex. Then you've got another hour on the trail where you make 2 miles of progress. So you're 3 miles into this hex. And then you've got 2 hours at 1.5 miles per hour. So that's another 3 miles. I've forgotten what I said. The first 2 hours suffice to. I think you were 3 miles in already. So I think you're 6 miles into the hex. Yeah. Cool. So you're 6 miles into the hex at the end of the first watch. You're now in the plains.
We're in the plains.
Encounter roll, actually, from this watch. And a Dorian foraging roll.
Oh my god. I just accidentally exited again. What is happening?
What are you clicking? Are you just clicking the exit?
Well, this time there was it popped up and it was like allow or block video and sound, and I accidentally clicked above it on the browser, then accidentally clicked another link in my history, and it just went to a different website. I think I have cerebral palsy. Like, what is happening? Anyway, okay. You said what
D12,
was that? It was D12
and Dorian foraging.
Okay.
We can just assume Dorian succeeds if you want.
You just want to assume. Oh god, 12.
Okay.
Let me roll on Dorian. I actually want to roll. I want to see if Dorian can fail.
After you've done that, another D12 for the encounter.
Oh, Dorian can fit.
There's a very high likelihood that this doesn't necessarily matter because you're sort of
12.
out of the Lurkwood now. So these are very unlikely. Yeah, that's not applicable. So, no encounter. Cool. So, yeah, it's the next watch. So you've done one watch of travel. What do you want to do? You're 6 miles into this hex. It'll take another 6 miles to get off of it. It's pretty...
Do we have another watch of travel left in the day that we can do?
You do, yeah.
I think we will have... I can't do it to Kratz. I'm going to keep having him navigate. I'm going to have Dorian continue to forage. Admand, I'm going to have Sentinel, and I'm going to have Istria on pathfinding. Is there any trail left? Have we pretty much moved past it?
There are a bunch of trails around here that you can find, yeah.
At this point, we'd have to find a new one. We've lost the old... Like, the old one's gone. So I think we'll try to... Or maybe we could find more of it, but we need to make a check. So I'm going to have Istria do that. Try to look for a trail. Not that that's going to help, because... I mean, once you find the trail, you got to point it out to Kratz. And he goes, what? And then he'd walk right past it every time.
Dorian failed. I didn't even notice that. All right, let's start with Kratznav. The Kratznav. Not a very effective situation.
Yeah. I just instead of sat nav, you just have like a speaker on your dashboard of your car, and it just goes turn left.
Bobblehead that has a speaker in it.
It randomly shoots out directions that have nothing to do with your goal. Okay. It will be survival. There we go. Kratznav. Hey, that's not horrific.
That's good. And tell me, are you trying to get into this hex or that hex?
Well, I mean, that all has to do with how this trail interacts with the hex rules. So, like, it looks to me...
In either hex, you'll be on the road. That's how we're... It's a road.
So as soon as we enter this hex, boom, we're on the road.
You're on the road, yeah.
Oh, but also as soon as we enter this hex, we're on the road.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Like, would we get to... Well, I guess no. We'd want to head to this one then. Because that way we're still getting closer to Mirabar, but then we can get to the road. Yeah.
All right, cool. It's going to take 4 hours exactly to get out of this hex, if I've calculated correctly, at 1.5 miles per hour. So you will get there at the end of the watch with no progress. You are now on a roaded hex.
Oh my god.
I don't think we need to resolve the pathfinding check.
And then once you're on a road, you probably don't need to navigate, right?
No, you don't.
Surely not.
No, when you're on a, depends on the road. Depends on the road, but this size of road, yeah.
But surely Kratz can't... Well. I mean, what would that even mean? He's walking and he just walks off the road and goes into the woods. We're like, Kratz, what are you doing? He's like, no, I think I found it. I picked up on the trail.
So there's a couple of things that have changed now with this. One, you're right. You're on a main road. There's no way you can get lost. The pathfinding check's pretty irrelevant because of that. You are now in a position where foraging is essentially stealing, so you're probably going to stop doing that. And then also you can rest in an inn if you'd like to at this.
There's
region.
inns all over the place.
There's inns on main roads. There's inns definitely every 20 miles or so, at least.
We'll do that. All right. Cool. And I think honestly, then everyone's just on Sentinel. Everyone's just looking to see if there's any encounters, but beyond that.
And I think we can resolve pretty much all the way to Mirabar at that point. You'll be traveling on a road, so that is how many miles a day with your stubby little legs? Rude but true. It's 2 times 8 is 16 miles a day. So so 2 more days to Mirabar from that point. Let's quickly grab some expenses, which I'll just have Admand pay, and we'll assume the NPCs have some pocket change to pay for their own expenses. Unless Admand, on behalf of the expedition, would like to pay for their expenses.
Nah, he likes the idea of them using their pocket change.
All right.
Gotta cut some funds wherever we can.
Okay, so 5 silver per day, so we'll say 15 silver to get back to Mirabar.
15 silver.
All right. So you return to the great city of Mirabar. Mirabar. Well, I guess first things first, we can quickly resolve. Do you take the head to the axe alongside the captured bandits, I presume?
Yes, we take the head and the captured bandits to the axe. And I'll to my friend Brock.
Yeah, and
Brock!
Brock will make sure all the bandits get to a dungeon cell.
Dramatically throw the bloody head on his nice desk. Gets blood all over the paperwork. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
He lifts it up and looks in the eyes and says, you've done us a solid here, old friend. And he puts it back in the sack and says,
these are the only 2 survivors. Everyone else is accounted for, dead or it's these 2. Now, they might have other bandits that weren't at that encampment. One of them said to me that, or said to Dorian. Dorian, by the way, my friend. He if his current career doesn't work out for him, he could join the Axe. He's got the instincts for it. But he found out that they do have other hideouts, but it's not clear to me if they have other members of their gang. So I guess that's up to you.
He hands you a pouch with the 5 gold in it and says, "This is less than you deserve, but it's all I can give you for the work. But know, old friend, that I owe you one for this."
Oh, that's right. We get more gold if we brought her in alive. Oh, that wasn't going to happen. We had to kill that. Okay. It was too crazy to bring her in alive. Of course. Well, anything I can do to keep the city safe. And maybe make a little extra pocket change on the side, of course. And we do, I'm sure the 2 of us have a good chuckle. And then I let him know that if he has any other work that is out Blassingdale away, let me know, because that's where we're headed.
All right. He nods. He reiterates that if he can ever do you a favor, then please let him know. And he thanks you. I presume your next stop's probably the Tuileries.
Yes. So we would go to the Tuileries. Oh,
before you get to the Tuileries, at this point, Haldra will part your company, and she will say, "I owe you my life, and I thank you for that. I do not have much coin, but if I can ever do anything for you, you know where to find me. I will make sure these pins get back to the company."
Yes. I hand her the rest of the pins. And, I say, I may take you up on that offer, Haldra.
All right, she parts your company. At the Tuileries, you will meet back up with Valdrin, who presumably you give him a full rundown. And
I give him the full rundown. Yeah,
he hears your report. He looks,
and I specifically tell him that there's a ton of equipment that we weren't able to recover of the caravans, and I would describe the location to the best of my ability.
Great. He notes all of that down. He thanks you. He looks incredibly relieved when you pull out the lockbox, and he asks if you've already taken your share.
I have not. I wanted to count it all out here together so we could make sure there's no funny business. And I open it up with the key, and I give him the key so that he has it back in his possession. And I think we'll do that drug dealer style. We'll count it in stacks and split it.
Your half then would be 1,250 copper.
Okay, whoa, one second. Oh god, this is too much. I can't wait. Oh, I gotta get out my calculator. Say that again.
1,250 copper. 1250.
Great. Next.
450 silver.
Cool. Next.
150 gold.
That's huge.
Yeah, and that I think is the Copper Tone Toolery. Unless you have any other inquiries for them.
I don't believe that I do.
If you're committing to
I also, we returned them their other caravan members if they worked for them. I'm not sure, but
Ulrich did, but he was a contractor. One of the civilians was a member of the company.
Okay.
So they thank you for that.
I take all the civilians and ransom them back to their families.
If you're committing to a long rest, we can have Dorian identify those items.
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely want to commit to a long rest because, well, I mean, that's the funny thing is really at this point, the only reason the long rest is for Dorian, so he can get his spells back.
He gets his spells back on a short rest as well.
That's right. We don't even need to long rest then.
Okay, do you not want to? In that case, it would take you...
Well, I would want to
one...
make sure that when we go back into the wilderness, I want to make sure we have all our spells and that we're full up on hit dice. So if that means resting...
Like 3 days or so?
Well, so Dorian would have... Oh, God. Okay. Well, I mean, we rested several days in the wilderness.
That's
right? On the way back.
That's true, actually. In the inns and stuff, yeah.
At the inns.
You can have those. That's like 3 short rests.
3 short rests. That's enough to
cap everyone, probably, right?
Cap everyone, yeah. So, yeah, we'll get him started on identifying, but he will have to. Wait, okay, yeah. Remind me, how does ritual work? Are you just not using it, or is it that wizards need to?
He's not a ritual spellcaster anyway, is he? So he's gonna have to use a spell slot per item.
That's what you said. It's that he's not technically a wizard, so he doesn't have the ritual spellcasting feature thing.
And because he doesn't have detect magic, he is going to have to use identify on every item, even if it's not magical. So that would be 7.
Take forever.
If you're identifying all 3 potions, and if you want to try identifying those 4 objects of interest, then that would be 7.
Obviously, I want to.
Well, if you commit to a long rest, I think it's reasonable to say that he's done that by the end of the long rest, but he would only have like 1 spell slot left at that point, because he's not going to get a long rest while casting spells.
But if we're taking the trail back to Kellenvor Point, we have another 2 or so days of in travel. He can get the spell slots back then. Let's commit to that then.
All right,
let's say that.
Okay. All 4 of those objects of interest, I'm just going to say right now, were non-magical, just so you know, including the statue.
God, we got to get him to detect magic. Oh my God.
The potions were 2 potions of healing and 1 potion of greater healing.
Okay, fantastic.
Things I think we should do before we finish up. The first... go on.
I just have a question about those. So are those other items of interest, they're just valuable? They're just like...
Yeah, they could be valuable.
They're valuable goods. They're not magical. I think we don't need to do this now. We could do it next time, but we're going to look into getting those appraised by some sort of antique...
Well,
maybe there's an antique dealer.
One of the 2 things I was going to suggest we do before we finish today was you meet back up with Dagnall just for a debrief.
Dagnall. Dagnall might want to buy him. He's rich.
Do you remember why Dagnall's rich? Do you know remember what his occupation is?
Wait, let me look up my notes.
Yep.
Child trafficker? No.
How didn't I notice that before?
No, I must have not wrote it down. What is his occupation?
Dagnall is a jewelry magnate. He's the head of the Jewelers Guild.
Good. Okay, so we head back to Dagnall in fine resplendence. This is probably towards. Well, I don't know when we. Yeah, we'll just do it. We'll do. Who cares when we do it? But we go there, and I walk in, and I think I bring everyone because I think this was a victory for all of them, and I want them, to be able to. I want him to be able to meet them.
Do you bring Billy?
No, we gotta. We'll talk to Billy. We also got to get an animal guy on board, but we'll do that. We'll figure that out.
Maybe Billy can train to be your animal guy.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, we'll see how that works. But yes, we're gonna go to Dagnall and say, Dagnall, we have returned.
As you walk into Dagnall's study, he is engrossed.
And of course, I have the writ of passage, so I can just
of course, yeah.
walk right in.
Yeah. Unless occasionally you're informed that he's not presently at the manor, but you are free to wait for him when that occurs.
Beat the servant to within an inch of his life.
As you enter Dagnall's study, he is engrossed in a mighty tome with a dark black cover. He looks at it almost... Roll me insight, actually, before I describe exactly his expression.
Insight. Hey,
oh yeah, he's very engrossed in what he's reading, but he's also a little perplexed. And he looks up and he goes, Admand, you have returned. And he closes it with a big thud and puts it up onto the shelf. I trust. He says, I have spoken with our mutual acquaintance about Kundrakar. He filled me in all the details.
Yes. You've spoken to Ulrich.
Of course, yes. I trust you still have his map.
Yes, I do. He made it clear that he wanted me to inform you that he found the map and that he provided the information. He seemed to like he was going to lay low for a while. Did he?
Oh yes. Oh no, he tried. I found him.
Oh dear. Is he okay?
Yes, of course. He was well compensated for his work, with a slight penalty for tardiness, of course.
This guy's brutal. All right, well, I hand him the map.
He looks it over and he says, you think you can find your way to the Stone Tooth with this in the Shadowlands?
Well, I think we can try. We're looking for, yes. Yeah, I think we can do just fine.
Actually, on that note, if you still intend to visit the fortress, and if you intend to make good on our discussions of previous, then I've actually got a small gift for you.
Thank you.
Clicks his finger a few times, and a servant
cheese
leaves.
Platter?
And comes back with a sort of like a carrying board that you would expect to have a cheese platter on, but instead of a cheese platter is a small, finely crafted wooden box. Open it.
I walk over and pop it open.
As the box is sort of like you slide open, there's a little like piece of wood that slides on the top, and you slide it open, and inside there are 3 compartments. In the 2 small compartments are 2 delicately placed scrolls, and then in the other compartment are a collection of inks and spellcasting components.
Oh. What is this, Dagnall?
The one on top is a scroll of continual flame. The one below it, a scroll of dark vision. You may find these useful in the Shadowlands. He motions towards Dorian. Keep them, my boy, keep them.
They're yours. Well, thank you. This is most useful. Dorian, say thank you. Dorian says thank you. And he says, oh, thank you. I say, this will come in handy indeed, especially the continual flame. I was already preparing mentally to get so many torches. And so many bottles of oil or whatever we were going to do. So that's perfect. And when you say spell components, because Continual Flame has like a cost, right?
Oh yeah, I think it does. And if it does, then that is included in the box.
Dope.
Although
yeah, let me double.
in scroll form, it would not require the component. The scroll is made having cast the spell with the component in the first place.
Well, I don't remember how any of this works, but I assume that a wizard could learn a spell from a scroll.
You can, and I will allow Dorian to do it so long as he can cast said spell. So these are both, I believe, second level spells. So currently beyond him.
Oh, I see. Yes, Continual Flame requires 50 gold pieces worth of ruby dust, by the way. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, sure. There's a pot of that in there.
A lot of ruby dust. Excellent. I say, well, this is a kingly gift. This will be excellent through the Shadowlands. I want to thank you for all of your excellent support, Dagnall.
Well, I'm hoping that together we can forge a profitable friendship.
Oh, it will be profitable, I believe. Yes, indeed. I also have... he thinks this over for a second. Do you like birds?
Not particularly.
Do you like mirrors?
Fine mirrors, certainly. I have a few.
Perhaps you would like this, a gift. And I'm going to... I think he just decides to do this in the moment. Because I think it's in his interest to keep Dagnall sweet at all times. And so Admand is going to give, no strings attached, the small mirror with a painted wooden frame to Dagnall as a gift.
He takes it, looks it over, and says, "Oh, quaint little thing." And with your high insight check, I think you can read that Dagnall is not particularly impressed, but he is making an effort to hide that.
Fucking hate him. I hate. Jump on the table and yell, "I hate you!"
He clearly appreciates the thought, but is attempting to mask the fact that this item holds very little in value to him. He says, "I will keep it close."
Thank you. Is there... I also have a few other trinkets we're looking to sell. Would you be interested in purchasing them?
You show him the statue, the chalice, and the ewer?
Yes.
Some of these are within my purview. I'm not particularly interested in purchasing them, but I could sell them for you. We could split the money.
Sounds good.
Oh, very well. So you leave him the chalice, the ewer, and the statue, right?
Yes.
Cool. I think if we say that this happened fairly early into the long rest, he's pretty good at his job. These are not particularly hard to sell, so he can have done that before you have left and given you the money, which if they split 50-50 would be nope, that's divided by 5. 37 gold, 50 silver total.
$37 gold,
50 silver. He says, "I have already began canvassing for patrons and clients if you eventually do delve into the halls of Mithril. We can discuss this in more detail and the exact nature of our partnership if and when you return from Kundrakar. Though I have great optimism that you shall return from Kundrakar all the richer for it. And remember, this delve into Kundrakar is your delve. I expect nothing in return from it. Our partnership is Mithril Hall. I have already done my piece for your delve into Kundra. Whatever you recover is yours. I expect nothing.
Thank you. I will be certain to, however, nonetheless, keep you abreast of anything we discover that might be of interest to you while we're there.
Excellent. As you know, I'm particularly interested in ancient jewelry. You can craft the most perfect necklace, but there is something particularly valuable about a sort of necklace that you can no longer craft. One that is steeped in history. Even if it is simple, even if it is made from simple metals, the fact that we no longer have that culture, it just adds something to it.
Well, if you're interested, I'd be happy to give you the first pick on purchasing any such jewelry we find.
I would appreciate that. And if you wish to sell any of these things, you won't find a better partner than I.
Thank you. You are truly a great man, Dagnall, as all have said of you. But I now know it in my heart more than just what I have been told. I shake his hand. Kiss on the cheek, kiss on the lips, kiss on the eye.
He has a ring. He has a ring. You can kiss her.
And I think with that, we will part and finish our rest if this was happening, at some other time.
And then that's great. I think the last thing I want to go over is a bit tangential, but I think probably worth doing in session rather than in the week, is a little bit off topic. So I have been doing a little bit of prep for the city, and I think it makes sense if the reason why Dorian came here in the first place was a wizard by the name of Proctor who lives here. I think it would make sense if after his studies he came to here because Proctor shares... actually, I'll leave that up to you. But he came here to try and find and learn from Proctor. And before he got to meet with him, he instead ran into Admand and started this whole adventure. So I'm curious from you, why did Dorian want to learn from Proctor? What are the aspects of him? And I'll leave this up to you. You feel free to ad-lib it. What aspects of Proctor appealed to Dorian? And how does...
Wanted to learn the spell Detect Magic so desperately.
I'm just genuinely. That's fine. Proctor could be someone who is very well known for his appraisal of magic. And what's the connection between Dorian and Proctor? Does one of Dorian's family members know him? Did Proctor guest lecture at his university when he was studying magic? Maybe Dorian read Proctor's book. Things like that. And then I will reveal to you on the map where Proctor's tower is in the city. There we go. I will focus ping you to it. Do you see it?
Do it again?
I should, should be doing it. Oh, I'm doing it on the GM layer, so it's not working. There we go.
I see it.
Yeah. So that's where Proctor's tower is. And perhaps, at your own discretion, Dorian might find it pertinent to eventually visit Proctor. Although I think it's fair to say, at one point before, he did try to visit and he was turned away. So that might be the reason why he hasn't gone back yet.
Why was he turned away?
He was just told Proctor's busy, and if he doesn't have an appointment, then he doesn't see random people.
How does he make an appointment?
He has to know people, He has to have the connections.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Dagnall can give us a meeting. Dagnall's got connections. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be something I'd look into, is talking to Dagnall about what he knows about Proctor, since Dagnall is now a close ally of ours. Maybe you know what? Maybe Brock. Brock said he owes me a favor.
You've made a lot of close allies now. You've got Dagnall, you've got Brock, you've got Valdrin at the Tuileries. The Tuileries in general, but Valdrin in particular is like, you saved my bacon. And then you've also got Haldra at the Thunderzars.
I'm actually going to write these down on the ally section of my character sheet just so I don't forget that I have these people. But I'm thinking one of these people might be able to get us a meeting with him. In particular, someone like, I imagine someone like Brock, since he represents like the official government. Surely, if he like comes knocking, they would.
Well,
no,
I don't know if that statement, he represents the official government, is necessarily true. They're the city guard. They're the law and order. They are instructed by the council. Yeah.
Are they a private institution?
No, well, they're funded by the council, by the city. That's true. I just don't know if there's any like sway there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
There's sway at the end of a boot heel.
There's also there's also the element of like the Marcon has his private guard or his household guard, which is also a military force. Like the axe itself is not. There are some. I think there's some complicated like where does power rest questions in that regard. Whereas like if there was ever a disagreement between the council and the Marcon, then actually even though the axe are officially sworn to the council, there is this question of like, well, who would they support?
Haldra was working for who again? The
Thundersar company, yeah, who are mercenaries, and their matron is, or might not be a woman anymore, but the most famous Thundersar leader was a woman. Is a member of the council. I have it somewhere. Who's the current leader?
Okay. In this case, I think so. To answer your original question, I think that Dorian. I think I said that Dorian is from Waterdeep.
I remember that.
Let me double check, but I think he's from Waterdeep. So my question on Dorian. My question on Dorian, yes, is there like a magical school in Waterdeep that someone could study at?
Oh yeah, loads, multiple for sure.
Okay, so he probably studied at one of those, and I kind of liked your idea that the proctor at some point, or proctor, was at some point maybe given there was some sort of endowment, and he was maybe like a visiting professor for a semester or something, and maybe Dorian even got to meet him once or twice, but doesn't know if he'd remember, right? Because it's probably a big school, probably a few dozen students, and Dorian would have attended many of his lectures, found him to be interesting. As for what he provides, or what he's known for, that's kind of part of the question. Like what is the proctor all about? By the way, did this come about because you were looking into lore and it said that there's a wizard in Mirabar named the Proctor, and you were like, oh, or did this just?
It's a mixture of the two. I had a few ideas. I wanted to make sure as the campaign progresses that if they stayed alive and stayed loyal, that the companions have some depth that we could explore. And this was my idea for Dorian. Yeah, and also, in some of the prep I was doing, I noticed that there were not just one wizard, there were a couple wizards. And I was like, oh, it makes sense if Dorian knows this wizard. And I think you were talking, it makes sense if Dorian came here, because Dorian's goal, right, is to become more magically knowledgeable, right, to gain more magic.
Yeah.
So he came here looking for this guy for some reason, and then when he couldn't find him, Admand was like, hey, I can give you more magic.
Yeah, I think that Dorian is really interested in eventually. I think he is interested in studying magic eventually from a theoretical perspective, but to do that he needs a body of like stuff to work with. One of the things he wants to do is find artifacts or old scrolls or ancient bits of lore that could hint, like, I imagine there might be long lost spells that were created by ancient civilizations that no one knows how to use anymore. And maybe Dorian wants to find scraps of information that could lead to the clues on how to cast these spells one day. Right? So these are things That's sort of long-term shit. Short-term, there's a whole lot of spells that are not wildly rare or somewhat common knowledge, not common, but common knowledge for wizards or whatever, that things that would be in the PHB or whatever, that Dorian thinks will be very helpful in this journey. And I'm in particular thinking, looking at the like schools, I would imagine that conjuration and transmutation would be the most important schools for someone who wants to study magic with magic, right? It wouldn't be evocation, because that's just blowing shit up. It wouldn't be illusion, necromancy, wouldn't be enchantment, or... Because enchantment, I always thought that sounds like you're enchanting items, but it's enchanting people.
Yeah.
I think it's a terrible name for it, personally, I think, but whatever. Anyway, and then divination. Divination could be good too. I'm going to say that he is a master of...
Maybe, to interject, maybe if you like this idea, maybe Dorian was appealed to Proctor because actually those three that you identified, he's written pretty respected texts in all three of those schools, and he's not necessarily a focused wizard. He is like Dorian. He likes to learn about magic, and he's not a specialist wizard.
Yeah, well, maybe he has. So maybe he's written texts on conjuration, transmutation, and divination, and he is.
And that would make sense for Mirabar as well, because there's only really one big wizarding establishment in Mirabar. It's in the Undercity, which is why it's not on this map, and it's a big academy of divination. So maybe Proctor hasn't always lived here, but he came here because the most recent of his studies is in divination.
There you go. I like it.
Cool.
That's what Dorian's here for.
Excellent. So yeah, keep Proctor in mind if we'd ever want to explore that. I'm gonna go grab XP. Could I have a rough idea of what you plan to do next week, so I can keep that in mind?
I am going to find an animal wrangler.
Okay.
I think that's actually a must-have. I think we need to have like a mule or maybe even a cart, but at the very least a mule.
Okay.
I think we're going to talk to Billy and get him on board. We're going to take him with us this time. And I think that we are going to I think, given the nature of this Proctor situation, maybe if it takes like a month, we got to get going on the next quest. But we might spend one day or part of a day trying to see if we can get a meeting with the Proctor for Dorian. That might be that might be the big goal of the session. And if it totally fails, then we'll just immediately go out. And I think we might tap into some of our allies to see if any of them know a way in. Not a way to sneak in, but like know someone, know an in, know a person there, knows a guy who knows a guy. And then I think also next time, and maybe I think in between now and then, I'm going to do a little thinking on equipment, but there's probably going to be some shopping. We're going to need to buy some, like I said, I think maybe a mule and maybe some other equipment, because this is going to be a longer haul. I also think like we've kind of been a little bit hand waving food, and I'm assuming that's not going to be forever. And so I think we're going to have to think about how many rations we want to make sure we have and that sort of thing. So I think I'm going to have to come up with a shopping list next time. So I think
I'm happy to, and I would encourage you to do the if you can, to do the equipment management stuff over text. I think it will make it so we don't have to do it.
Sure. Yeah, we can even do that. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So I think so between the session and now in the session, shop, divide up the loot. That'll probably also just happen off screen.
It's probably time, isn't it, with the amount you've received?
Yes. Divide up the loot. See if we can get a meeting with the Proctor. Get an animal wrangler. Talk with Billy, and then head out.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I've mostly got XP. I'm gonna give. You've also got XP for killing that bandit. I'm gonna give you a little bit of XP for getting all the money back, and a little bit of XP for getting out of the forest safely, because I think that was a challenge, and I think you overcame it without any losses or compromises. And then you did complete one of the main quests today, but we'll do that last, because that's obviously the special XP that you can divide up however you like. So aside from that, is there anything else in this session that you think you should get XP for?
Thought it was cool that I gave Dagnall that present, but he didn't like it. So I don't know. I don't know if I get XP for that.
I think so. It's a good idea, and also in some ways you learned more about Dagnall because of that interaction, which I think is worth a little bit. I'm going to give you 50 extra XP on top.
Okay,
for that.
Cool.
Anything else, or should I divide?
No, I think that's good.
And then you've got 4 people, right? Istria, Dorian, Kratz, and Admand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. So everybody gets 215 experience points. Let me know when you've got that noted down.
Okay, I'm done.
And then you did complete one of the main quests today. The name is The Road to the Stone Tooth, which is acquiring Ulrich's map. And that is a 1000 XP quest that you can divide however you like.
Okay, I think... I think we're going to do... You said 1,000?
Yep. I'll just mark that one as completed. If you drop the map on the floor and pick it back up, you get another 1000 XP.
Okay, so I am going to do. I'm gonna take 400 of it for Admand and take the remaining 600 and divide it 3 ways, giving 200 to each of the people.
Cool.
So an update on where we're at. Admand is very close to leveling up. He is at 2515.
That's really.
You need to take a. Now, remind me on the leveling up rules. Do you need to take a long rest to benefit from a level up?
That's correct.
Now wait.
Yes, if you want to redistribute it so Admand would have enough XP to level up, I will let you level up on this long rest we've just done. Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that then. That's. I think that's smarter. So
that does make sense.
Let me redistribute this one.
Or you could give it all to Dorian so he could learn those spells. Actually, if you split it 2 ways, could you do both? If it's just you and Dorian?
No, I don't think so. I could give myself about 600 to level up.
Right.
And I could give Dorian I would have to give him about 560 to level. It would. I don't think we have enough.
Okay.
Let me double check. Wait, it's 1,000.
Well, what I'll say is that again, there's no rush on this decision, so maybe you think on it and we can resolve it in the week. That sound good to you?
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. Did you enjoy the session?
Yeah, it was great.
Good.
As always.
Excellent. Anything else you want to go over before we wrap?
No, I think that's all for now.
All right, great. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Are we good for next week, Marshall?
I think, yeah, we're good for next week.
Then we will see you there, same channel. Peace out.